Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It is, as you can see, apart from here, a bit of a chilly week down here in South Africa. Myself and Riza are all covered up. Rion's coming back from sickness, so he's embracing the elements. And then Chris, it must be getting much warmer for you, to be fair, that side of the world.
Yeah, not really, but we had our first. But we had our first big thunderstorm of the summer, which I love. So it means that the seasons are turning. So I enjoyed that. But actually, not seasonally warm as it should be. Actually,
okay,
I'm sure it'll come.
It's at the moment the Joburg weather has been very emotional. It's we wake up when it's freezing, and then gets up to being mid-20s, and then it gets cold and even. Awesome happening here. But yeah, chaps, lots to get through. A very interesting weekend of rugby, and yeah, it's good to have Rion back. It's good to be back on a Thursday night after we had technical difficulties last weekend and had to move it towards Friday. It's also good to be back on the main channel, which we had a couple of difficulties last week, which is why it wasn't as much live content as we'd like. But this weekend, back to the URC, back to so many different watchalongs and competitions. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first of all, Chris, I think we owe you a congratulations because our the basic 7 is going quite well. I believe another victory last weekend.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Stuff the Cyber losses as long as the bets are coming in. That's all that matters. Yeah. No, but yeah, it was
more profit is what you are.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been good as you said, Stephen. I've got some more bets for the guys later in the show, so hopefully we can keep building.
Yeah, no, cool. Good to see. So as you see in the top right corner of the show, is being brought to you by BetCozy, who are the official betting partners and help us power our rugby on the channel. So big shout out to BetCozy. Again, if you want to jump on the betting advice that Chris does give, and as we will show you a bit later, it actually has been coming quite good so far. You can go and click the link in the description and go and sign up for a BetCozy account. We will be giving away free bets and stuff like that throughout the weekend and stuff like that throughout the rest of the month, so plenty to come there. But let's talk a little bit about last weekend, shall we? Because a week ago, I believe, Chris, and we'll verify when Riza comes back. But I believe that we had basically welcome back, Riza. I think the three of us had backed the Stormers to get the job done against Exeter, providing the conditions were good, which they actually worked right. And I backed the Lions to get the job, which actually turned out not to be the wildest shot, because I think they were definitely in with a chance. But Reason, will come to you. 3 South African games, 3 South African losses, a step too far, a lot of excuses going around about travel and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, what I was saying is I think quarterfinals was probably about where we are as sides. Travel and the logistics are always going to catch up at a point. And but I don't think we should be ashamed of our first campaign in Europe across both the Champions and the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head there for me. And there is a lot of whining and groaning going on, and a lot of defense from the European media, especially about how much we've moaned about it. And to be very fair, I think that we were outplayed all across the board, unfortunately. And it's just turned out that we just weren't good enough. And to be very honest, there's a lot of excuses about lethargy and management of schedules and reffing and all sorts of nonsense, which we'll get into in a little bit. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's not a complete blowout. I think that going into it, realistically, we were all expecting the other European sides to be better than their respective South African matchups. And I think it's turned out exactly how it should have, to be very honest. And if we had got any of those results, it probably should have been seen as an upset.
Yeah, fair enough. Like I said, I think the big thing obviously being that every single home team basically won last weekend, sort of highlighting the home ground advantage. But the Lions were, as usual, holding the South African, flag high and boldly trying to go where other teams didn't go. Rion, we'll go to you. Close but no cigar. But to be perfectly honest, I look back at that and think that's actually one that got away, as opposed to us not being good enough. You look at the stats, you look at the way we played in the game, and the Lions definitely could have won that game.
Yeah, it was great to see them put up a good fight. They defended much better than their compatriots, that's for sure. Especially Glasgow, the way they've been playing, they wouldn't be out of place in the big boy competition in the Champions Cup as well. So I was proud of the way they came along, but as well, same as all the other stuff, it's an away game. It looks like home advantage in this competition of everything. And it was just maybe a bridge too far. I think just one flight too many and one game too many. And also the Glasgow Warriors had a lot of their internationals back and fresh. And I think we did pretty well. Would have liked to win, but we can be proud of where we got to. I don't think anyone expected the Lions to be in the knockouts.
Yeah, look, I think, and it's interesting that we talk about Lions being the knockout stuff like that, and now we're going to talk, the theme of the show. We're going to talk about it a bit when we start looking this weekend, is obviously going to the playoffs, and they're in there with a little bit of a shout, but Chris, from you, what positives can we take away? We talked about the experience of playing in these situations, playing in these sort of playoff games, stuff like that, and maybe something that a lot of these teams haven't done enough recently. But how much can we look at this entire sort of tournament of the last couple of months, and how much value do you think that's brought to our unions and to South African rugby in general?
Yeah, I think I might be a little bit more negative here. I think it's too much to ask to play URC and this competition. I know we're not going to say it's an excuse, but it's too much. You could see our teams ran out of steam, and I think one thing I noticed quite hectically was Dobbo before the Exeter game. He basically said they hadn't trained, they had no preparation, and I'm thinking to myself, big quarterfinal game, you had no preparation as a rugby player. You can't come in rearing to go, So I think for us, Stormers, it was also just very bizarre, everything about that game and how they looked. Sharks came out firing, which Stormers didn't, but they also ran out the legs. And of course, the Lions, I think they're better away side than home side. They seem to give up a good fight, and Glasgow are a very decent team at home. I enjoy it. I love the Heineken Cup. I think the semi-finals are the right teams there. But I don't know if it works, us having to play these two competitions going back and forth 7-8 times a season. I think to me it's ridiculous. I want us to be there, but I don't know. I don't have the answer, Steve, how we sort that out.
Yeah, I think a big thing is a lot more money, so that you talk about, I said, Dobbo not having the training sessions, and that was largely due to all of the travel issues that the Stormers had. And you said that it's an interesting one to try and get right, because it is a long haul flight, but at the end of the day, we've got to try and move to a situation where it doesn't have to be a long haul flight. If you know who your opposition is, let's say, you play on a Friday night, by Saturday it's confirmed, we need to be in a position where these teams are ready to fly out on a Sunday or Monday night and be there first thing Tuesday morning. So that you've got a full Tuesday to recover, Wednesday and Thursday, Friday. You can have a training session Wednesday, Thursday off, and a captain's run on Friday. So I think that the logistics obviously do seem to be the biggest obstacle. And it's a frustrating reason. And you don't want to talk about it too much, but I agree. I think at this stage, it's just not working with the 24-hour journeys, via Qatar, various different places. It's getting far too. It's far too onerous to be spending 2-3 days traveling, and as I said, I think Stormers only left on Wednesday or Tuesday night. I think it was
late Tuesday. I think.
Yeah. But they got there that one day that Dobbo said they didn't have that rundown session, not even a training session. And I think I'm sure you guys all played sport, right? I mean, when you're preparing for that big derby game on the weekend against your rivals, that whole week is big. And if you're worried about flights and airports and cramped up in economy and how can you be ready for a big quarterfinal like that? I don't want to make an excuse, but Stormers didn't want to play that game. I don't know. Something was worse than the travel in that squad on Saturday. I don't know if it was missing Dion for real or what, but the body language was just so bad. Very strange.
Yeah, it was a very uncharacteristic Stormers performance, because they're not a side that usually lie down and give up, and they were never at the races throughout the entire game, which is sad, because I think that if they were at the race, I think they could have given Exeter a good go. Look, I do think Exeter played particularly well. I thought that I've watched a couple of times, and it wasn't the same sort of Exeter side that I had seen. So sometimes you do just come right at the right moments and make a bit of a late charge. But
watch Exeter beat what's the name and make it to the final. The way they've been going.
Dare to dream. Stuart Hobbs retiring. This is his last campaign. Imagine he goes and wins the Champions Cup.
But the ironic thing is, Exeter was supposed to be the tired team right after that mammoth game against Montpellier, and it was us that looked like we played 3 games 2 hours before.
Yeah, just to lump on that, I just think that I know it's a home game for them, but at the end of the day, it's not always going to be that situation, and everyone's going to have to travel at some point. And we wanted to be there. So the excuses can't come from us. We cannot sit back and say, well, oh, you know, it was the first campaign and we got it wrong or whatever, because that's not what the Stormers are doing. They're simply saying, well, oh, all these things went against us, and it's like, well, take a bit of accountability, you know. Just a
I
little
think
bit.
Dobbo said he won't play in travel. He said
Dobbo was
he
very,
just
very
didn't.
clear. He basically came out and
Yeah,
said,
he
no,
just said,
no.
we didn't pitch
Our
up.
tactics were wrong. I let the team down. He didn't
No,
say it was.
but what I mean is that it should be more forthcoming than that, and go, well, actually, Dobbo, you didn't just get that. It wasn't just a case of like, oh, a couple of flights went wrong and we were late. You guys stuffed up. Like, you actually stuffed up the travel from a logistical point of view. You messed up. And so while you're not blaming the travel, you can say that it was a factor and a personal stuff up on your side.
But I think, guys, we haven't traveled well the whole season. Let's be fair. We said this before. Like, this was we were trying to call the games. I said we haven't traveled, so now another one. This was worried me that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Not as bad as it did. That was a bit sad to see, but it was really worrying me.
Yeah, and I think the whole traveling part's very interesting, and also it's also interesting enough is that it wasn't just a case of the South African side struggling away from home. You know, all the sides that played away, all the sides played at home had that home ground advantage.
Harlequins got smashed over here. I mean,
Yeah.
to lose in South Africa, would it have gone that same way? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Storm is the extra Chiefs at the Cape Town Stadium. I think it'll be a very different result. So what'll be interesting then for me is from the competition perspective is how many years will we ever be able to get it right where we will be able to play our semi-finals here, and will there, because obviously the finals and stuff are often predetermined. You know, they decide where the venue is before at the beginning of the season. You know, will we see a Heineken Cup final in South Africa? You know, and how long is it going to take for us to start being able to sit at the table and not just be the guest at the table, and actually sit there and say, right, no, actually we're in here. You know, we're bringing you in this competition. We're part of this competition. We want to have home finals. We want to make sure that, you know, if our teams are doing well and are getting good seasons, that we can get home semi-finals, because that's, regardless of just the traveling, that is, at the end of the day, our home final is always going to be a best chance. Look at the Lions 3 Super Rugby finals in a row. Everyone always looks at the home one saying that's the one they should have won, and it was the one they should have won. But
you got to bring that up. More therapy sessions now, thanks.
Well, I mean, sorry,
go. Just from that point of view, I just think that we are not far away from getting that. I think that we, as the unions came in and said, well, we're happy to play this game for you just as long as you let us in, you know. And at the end of the day, we've come in and we've shown in terms of viewership, and the thing that really matters for these guys is the money aspect. And so I think after the successful first season in terms of attendances and so on, and maybe another 2 seasons, 1 or 2, and I'm sure that the unions will be sitting down and saying, well, listen, guys, you can see what we're bringing to the table in terms of the stuff that you actually want. It's time we get a seat at the table. I don't think we're going to be sitting here in 5 years talking about still wanting playoff games in South Africa. That's just my view.
Yeah, but you remember the New Zealand sides? I mean, they used to come over, scale a semi-final, and bugger off home across the wrong side of the world often. You know, they could do it. So I'm not sure.
Stormers
why
and Chiefs. It's always those two teams. Doesn't matter which competition you're in. The Chiefs knock the Stormers out in the quarters.
Yeah,
we're just notoriously bad travelers.
Oh, well, let's not forget that Cape Town is basically New Zealand home territory anyway. So
you make a very good point. That's interesting. It's an interesting concept. You know, the fact that we don't travel particularly well. What would be interesting for me is if we start seeing rugby become far more global in terms of people not just leaving South African shores but actually coming back after a few years. And I'm hoping we kind of get into that way. I've got no issue with players going overseas. What we'd like to see is almost a bit like what you see in football, where once a player goes overseas, it's not like, oh, well, he's overseas. It's, you could do a 2-year stint in the Premiership or a 2-year stint in the top 14. You can come back to a couple of years, go to Japan, and hopefully start seeing a far more sort of globalization where players are jet setters and going sort of everywhere all the time. It'll be interesting if that does start to happen, if that will help us travel a bit better, where you've got players who are not going to France for the first time, and players who have played in these various leagues against some of these teams in these sort of conditions, and how that'll make, hopefully, because hopefully that's kind of what everybody was sort of saying was the silver lining of us going to Europe, is that people were hoping that we then become a better team in Europe, but we're still struggling to travel there.
It's the first time, eh? Let's maybe 2 or 3 years. Maybe we adjust. We make We get used to it. I think we can do it. Look at the URC. We started really badly, ended up to making the final. So I think this is a betting period. This was awakening. This was like, okay, yeah, we want to be serious contenders in this
Logistics
competition.
guys don't know who to talk to at the airport in France.
People sitting saying, you need this visa. Like, what visa? Who's got a visa? What's going on here?
We had 25 years to sort out all those little things in Super Rugby.
They're looking at the size of Heathrow and they're just panicking. Like, I don't know what terminal to be in. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I am. As far east to travel to one of the 4 airports in New Zealand. Right, so the 3 teams are out, and a bit frustrating, but it is what it is. But now I think we turn to the real big thing, because at the end of the day, someone made a good point, and they said us being in the Champions Cup is far more about us being in the Champions Cup than actually doing well in the Champions Cup from a financial point of view. Being in the competition gives you that financial boost, rather than actually getting to semis or finals and stuff like that. So now we're back in the URC, and we've got 3 teams currently in the top 8. Now, it's obviously not as simple as just saying if you get top 8, then you guarantee qualification to Champions Cup, because there's places available to the winner of the URC. If you win the champion, I don't think there's no teams that are still in the Champions Cup that are in the URC outside the top 8. But yeah, and obviously I think there's a guarantee that it has to be a Welsh side in there as well. So it's not quite as simple as that. But we do have 3 South African teams in the top 8 currently. The Lions, I think, were given by the URC an 18% chance of
it's not zero.
Well, that's literally why I went to the article, because I was like, what do they reckon? Yeah, because I was like,
I saw the same article.
Yeah. But now it's and there's no excuses either. There's two weeks of 2 home games for all 4 unions. Stormers are just, for me, I mean, they're basically just making sure they're going to cement that second spot, get that home semi-final, and then if they can win that, get over and try and beat Leinster in Ireland. But for the Bulls and the Sharks, well, the Bulls, they won last week in the Currie Cup, but before that, they haven't won a URC game since January. The Sharks, it wasn't a bad result against Toulouse, and they won the week before, but they've also had their struggles. Rian, how do you see us going back to the URC here? What sort of chance are you giving us to still have 3 teams in the Champions Cup next season?
I think the Sharks, they're playing Benetton this weekend. They should. Well, we've said that so many times
Exactly,
this year. They should win this easily, and then they take 35 points to 0 against Cardiff at home. So, and Benetton's on a bit of a run right now. I think they sent basically their strongest team over here. Yeah. They really want to qualify for the Champions Cup as well. I think they are one of the faster growing teams in the thing. So the Sharks should win that one. And I think they play Munster last at home as well. And Munster has been traveling very poorly. So I'm thinking the Sharks should be safe. The Bulls, they're playing Leinster and Zebre. I think Zebre is an easy beat. Leinster, we'll see what they do against the Lions. The Bulls haven't been playing that well. Their defense has been pretty poor. So I think almost the Lions have a better chance against Leinster currently than the Bulls do. So they are a bit touch and go. And then the Lions, 70% is not zero, but we need other guys to lose and that, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're doing better than last year, but not good enough yet.
Yeah, I think with the Lions, I think obviously they have to go basically go and beat Leinster with a bonus point on Saturday and beat Zebre. They get 10 points and hope that other results go their way. And it would probably be the most Lions thing ever for us to do that, to get into the top 8, and then for like Benetton to come 9th to win the Challenge Cup and knock us out.
Look, I think a lot of this depends on Cardiff, to be very honest. And they're sitting there kind of the wild card in all of this, with games against Connacht and Ospreys left, either side of them on the table, and so they get 2 losses there, and suddenly we're looking at an equation where even if the Bulls don't quite get a result going the way, we still might have 3 teams sitting in the quite easily. Very comfortably, and the Stormers could do us a favour at the top of the table as well with a couple of wins there.
Yeah, and Connacht is playing very well, so they should be able to take Cardiff easily. It's the Ospreys which Ospreys shows up against Cardiff.
And it's now the time which I hate, where you have to start bringing out calculators. You have to start looking at like so many different factors on who the hell is going to go through, which all gets a bit complicated and stuff like that. yeah, we're gonna do quick fire predictions at the end. We've got Curry Cup and URC, so we've only got 2 competitions. We'll have to find something else to do as well. Maybe we'll make it in half.
Listen, I've got some refereeing stuff I want to talk about. So
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Okay, so should we go to the typical South African referee tangent? Here we go. This is where all the
What did
comments
they
everyone's
don't
gonna come
do
out
right
and
now?
get here and talk about how all we do is bash referees. Right, Reza, go and bash your referees.
yeah, referees were all cuck, and this is why the France are going to win the World Cup. Anyway, absolutely not. It's actually not. It's actually not what I want to say. It's to be very honest, it's twofold. There is a lot of outcry about refereeing at this point, and obviously citing Champions Cup and recent URC, and it's across the board at this point. And I totally agree with the sentiment that you cannot blame refereeing for the results in a lot of those games. But I do want to point out some decisions that were incredibly dodgy in that Sharks game. And to be very honest, Sharks didn't deserve to win that. Their second half was terrible. They threw away a lot of opportunities, and a couple of decisions wouldn't have mattered. But sorry, let me just get this winger's name correct. Oh gosh, what's his next name now? I'll find it in a minute. But basically, Juan Cruz Malia. 14
he's the Argentine.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. He came running across the line, and Mapimpi was almost stood exactly still, and he swung across the line, and he mistimed it, and he went head first into the side of Mapimpi's head with his own head, knocked himself out, and was out cold for a little bit, and got a yellow card for it. A mitigating factor was that Mapimpi apparently changed direction. When he changed direction, it was a bit of a stutter step. It wasn't exactly like a huge Ches and Colby sidestep, and that was apparently enough to say, no, definitely not a straight red for head-on-head contact, no wrap of the arms, nothing. This guy just went flat out, crashed into it. And I was sitting there going, and I even messaged, Rion responded to me on the day and was like, guys, what do you think about this yellow card? Like, well, frankly, if that was a South African team, I can almost guarantee that's a straight red. And
here it comes. The world hates South Africans. Oh no, get the Rusty video out.
I don't think we'll see
I don't
reds.
care. I don't care.
think we'll see reds in the knockouts.
I actually just don't. Well, if you say so, Rion. But if I come across and I flip and headbutt an oak, and he had a stutter step in a game where it's all about changing direction, and that's apparently enough to get you down from a red to a yellow, and then come on and score a hat-trick. That's kind of annoying. That's just my view on it. And I think that the quality of refereeing, it didn't even warrant a second look. It wasn't even much of a discussion between the TMO and the ref on the field. I just think that refereeing in general, not because of the South African team, but refereeing in general at this point is looking quite dire. And especially in a World Cup year, it needs some investigation.
The thing with the refereeing conversation is it's such a twofold conversation, because how much blame do you put on the refs, how much blame do you put on the change in laws and stuff like that, and the biggest thing is, I suppose, the inconsistencies, and that's what always the issue is that you see a decision and you sit there going, okay, cool, so that's the yellow card, and then you watch the next game, the same thing happens, and you're going, oh well, why is that a red card? Why is that a yellow card? So there's no doubt there's a lot of discrepancies in it, and to be honest, I think the fact that the refereeing is such a big topical issue, and the fact that it's such a microscope, which is why I think it's such a masterstroke that Nigel Owens is going to join the Bok coaching staff. I think that is one of the most.
I thought that was off the table.
He said no.
Oh, he said no. What have I missed here? I've got it up for like 4 days.
No. To turn them down now.
Now we'll find another one.
Yeah, he said he's got other work and he's starting a family. They're adopting a kid, or they're trying to. So
we'll send him a South African kid. What's the issue here? You can come and choose one from like Paul Kim or something that's going to be. You can pay for
I have to find another ref with good chips.
But a lot of referees are joining coaching staff, which I think is quite an interesting development.
The French have one on the payroll as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting year from a referee. I do think that World Rugby need to take a lot of accountability in terms of maybe a lot of inconsistencies with the way either the laws are being written or termed, or how the interpretation is going. But I think the biggest issue is that there just doesn't seem, whether it's too complex or whether we're not actually bothering ourselves to get to go spend the time getting into nitty gritty. At the end of the day, your average fan does not understand why what is a yellow card and what is a red card these days, and that makes for unpleasant viewing.
Did you see that the call against the Reds lock Angus Blythe? I think
That
it's
was
Angus,
the most
the weekend.
ridiculous. He got a 3-week ban. A 3-week ban. The guy almost took his head
But
off.
besides all that, the process to get him to red. Did you see that? Where the ref was like, okay, that looks pretty bad, yellow card. He goes and sits down, and then a TMO, not the main TMO, they have a separate TMO, has 8 minutes to check the footage while the game's going, and then he can upgrade it to a red. And that's
8
what
minutes.
happened. They told him, he's got 8 minutes in the upstairs to review the footage, and then he can tell the guy, okay, he radios the ref, tells the ref, okay, no, this is bad, make it a red card. And then the ref tells the guy, okay, you can't come back on the field, your yellow is now red. And
is that a Super Rugby
time to do it, that's a Super Rugby method.
But they're looking at bringing that into the World Cup potentially. Apparently they're having a
they want to bring it in the World Cup so that the ref doesn't have that time pressure of looking at a big screen on the field, the crowd's baying for blood, all that
being
kind of
booed
stuff.
by the French crowd and all the stuff like that.
So a TMO in a box upstairs looks at it while the game carries on, and then they say, okay, it's a yellow still or it's a red now.
So it's 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes for Bismarck du Plessis to tear 3 other guys' heads off.
No. So he's
in
already
that
off.
time.
The guy's yellow card
He gets the yellow card and he's
off the
off.
field.
So while he's sitting on the bench,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure, I think also if he reviews it and like within like 4 minutes can go and say it's not a yellow card, I think they can actually and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they sort of if they do implement that sort of thing. I quite like, and I've always said we've got technology, let's use it, and then it's kind of been an overuse of it where they're now going back 45 phases to go and see if there might have been a potential forward pass, a type thing, and it becomes a very tiresome thing. But so I think the referee conversation to everyone, I think it's going to come up a lot this year. I'm very excited.
It's never going to go away.
No,
We're all talking circles every week. You just got to accept it's part of the game. Human error is part of the game.
I agree with you. But that, to me, that's the other part of this game is like people say, oh, let's not talk about the referees. I'm like, how can you not though? They are a part of the game. There's nothing wrong with having a discussion about it. It just depends how biased you actually are.
Well, I still maintain, I'm going to put my neck out, that a big game in the World Cup is going to have a very controversial referee decision decided. I'm betting that it's going to be France, but I'm telling you now, a big game is going to be decided on a controversial decision, and that's going to be sad. But
But I suppose that also comes back to sort of the whole home ground advantage that you're always, that's why home ground advantage is so important, and not just obviously the World Cup would be in France, but for things like having that home semi-final where you're in that high pressure situation, it all kind of feeds into each other, doesn't it?
But Steve, also in this France game, Sharks game, did you guys see when Pimpy scored and then the replay got shown over and over until the ref blew the forward pass? Exact same thing happened to Toulouse. Not a single replay in sight. I'm just saying. Just saying.
No, but there's lots of calls that
it happens here as well.
But that's not human error.
Victor Matfield stepped up a little bit because he came on and said, if this was Super Sport, we do the same thing. We'd also show.
Exactly.
I don't think.
There we go.
But that's.
I was at Ellis Park. When was it? 2014. Kano hit. Who was it? Lambie or something in the head, or Skulk going down in a tackle. I was in Ellis Park. That big screen, both sides was on repeat showing that head contact till the ref stopped the game and said, "Okay."
Then it's fair enough. Yeah.
I'm more shocked that those big screens are working, to be honest.
They are working. I'll be at Ellis Park this Saturday. You guys.
There we go. Rian can see the park and see how it's going. That's an interesting conversation because there's now been calls to have neutral television crews as well to not have. So if it's a Rugby World Cup in South Africa, SuperSport will not be the broadcaster.
That makes sense.
Or even just a neutral TV director, for example. So the SuperSport cameraman can all be there, but
There's no way.
We need captains just need to do a code and shout it to the refs, Mike, you bloody SuperSport.
Literally.
You bloody bastards. Bloody hell.
Still my moment of this.
Go full Virat Kohli on the mic stump, the stump mic.
Remember that. SuperSport, you cheated.
It's still the best meme ever. But let's move on to this weekend, shall we? Because there's a lot of rugby. I'm going to do some quick fire predictions, and Rian wasn't here last weekend, so we have to put him on the spot for them.
I got all of them right, in case you guys were wondering.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we go 2 for 2. But before then, we're going to go to our betting segment. We're going to bring Chris in here. Chris is going to give us some more winning bets this weekend. that is what happened
Yeah.
last week, as well as the season record and tonight's bets. Chris, over to you. Take us through this.
Yeah, guys. So we had last week, if you remember, we had 2 bets. We had the multi with 4 legs. We had the Bulls to win, which they did in the Currie Cup quite comfortably. Blues to win, which they did very comfortably. Leinster race to 20, which Leicester were giving them a game, but I always thought 20 points was enough into the game that they were putting away by then. And Clermont plus 5.5 got close. Clermont's been doing French things. They should have actually really won that game. They're down to 14 early in the first half as well. But anyway, the point spread covered, so we won that bet and was quite bullish on the Bulls on the single to win against Griquas, and it turned out to be too much class against that Griquas side. So yeah, we got up another couple of units. So we up the record 5-2, 5 wins, 2 losses to 6 unit wins. So it's quite a nice return on investments that we currently ticking over with. So yeah, I've come up with some bets again for the weekend. So this is obviously all through bets.ZA and what markets I currently have available to look at up until showtime. So at the moment, I'm going to still keep the units quite low. I think I still want to just keep building this up, and then we can maybe take some bigger risks on higher odd multis in a few weeks' time. But the first one, which I really like, what you want to call it, or banker, if you want to call it, or the surer thing, is 1.5 units on overs in the Pacifica versus Reds games. They're playing in Pacifica, so it's going to be in Samoa, so it's going to be quite a game, quite an atmosphere. And both teams, I don't think they have defense coaches or even practice tackling. So I'm pretty sure that 52 should be covered. The only thing that could go against us is the conditions, because they haven't played there and it might be muggy. I haven't seen what conditions would be like there, but I'm still pretty confident on previous form lines that over 52 covers. Brumbies are at home to Fiji and Jura as well. Brumbies at home are just very, very solid. Jura away are not very good at all, and they're leaving some of their players behind. So the cap is 20. So we're saying, that Brumbies minus 10 means Brumbies will win by more than 10.5. So you'll look for the alternate cap line, as we discussed a few weeks ago. That's a lower price. So we're saying, Brumbies to win by more than 10. And then Gloucester play Bath at home tomorrow night. Just the way the season going, home team as well. Gloucester at home, they got more to play for in the log position. Bath had a very, very good win against Exeter a few weeks ago, but they've had the break in between. Say Gloucester had a very good win against La Rochelle. So I just think they are the better side, and a home win here should come in. I think Bath will be better than we expect, but I'm very confident that Gloucester wins. So that's a treble. That's a treble at 2.39, which you can currently get at that price on bet.coza. But assuming we have won a few units, I am going to stick my neck out on a bit of a bigger one, not on a big unit stake at this stage. But I've decided to go with this one because I'm quite confident on these points coming in. Brumbies over 40 team points is one leg. So we need Brumbies to get more than 40. I'm thinking that Brumbies could probably cover 50, get close to 50, maybe cover 50. Again, we've just spoken about the Reds and Pacifica over 58. We talked about the line cap, which is the middle, the 50-50 handicap that bookies give it. It's at 62. So we're still under the line cap at 58. I still think this game goes to 65 more points. If things should go well. And then I just be honest, I think if Bulls, Zebre, bottom of the log, Bulls are still playing for their spots. I think Bulls win by 50, to be honest. And we say Bulls minus 23.5, so they're to beat Zebre by more than 23.5. That's the line cap, actually. So the bookies are actually saying that Bulls will win by 24. I'm saying that Bulls are going to win by 40. And that comes to 5.46 at 3/4 of a unit. So it's a little bit less. It's obviously half of the unit stake that we do in the first bet. But obviously, if it wins, we get 0.75 times those units. So it'll be a very nice profit if that comes in. I'm very confident in the first one to arrive, which still means we'll make a small amount of profit. But if we get that second multi, we'll be really well in A4 way onto a nice profit record. So, best of luck if you tail in. Very, very pretty high confident that these should arrive. Maybe one will get close, but I'm confident that they're all going to be very close or definitely winners.
I reckon I might drop my house on my car on the second one and We'll phone you guys from Mauritius next week.
Yeah, but we say, like I said, as I said, guys, unfortunately, at this time of the day, there's other games that I would be probably looking at, which I'll probably put in these, which I'll be more confident to bet more. But because we're limited to the Friday games and some Saturday games, I don't want to risk too much at this stage until we got a nice kitty. So perhaps we could take more risk. So like we say, we'll make an arrangement that I could get bets out to you guys on Fridays or Saturdays as well.
Yeah. Right. Well, if you do put some bets out on Twitter at the Crow Tips there, so
that's right. Yeah, there's my handle. So yes, I do post a couple of multis and triples every week, or even a line cap, whatever I feel strongly about. So yes, if you want more, I'm pretty active over the weekend, giving out more trebles and doubles and some other tips. Yeah, so sure, they'll be good.
Oh, there we go. So that's our betting tips for the week. As always, the big thank you to Chris as well as to Bet Koza for being our betting partners and powering the betting segment and stuff like that. If you have any questions for Chris, as always, put them in the comments, stuff like that. And we can revisit them as well.
And also, I want to say, if anyone wants to ask me any questions on Twitter, direct message me if you want. If the lines do move, if you see this in the morning, you'll probably go there. You might not get the same price and numbers. If you are willing to make a bet, give me a shout. I'm happy to help out, recreate that bet for you, or give you advice. So not an issue.
What a legend.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. And, well,
no worries.
He says what a legend now. We'll use it in a week's time after we see if they hit or not.
Well, we'll still be up, so that's why I'm feeling a little bit more, spicy this week.
Yeah,
I also like to live danger. Yeah, living on the edge. But yeah, we've got a little bit. So yeah, if these come home, it will be ace, and we'll be well away. So it'll be good.
All right, cool. I love it. Right, cool. Thank you so much, Chris. And then we've got 5 minutes left. So what I want to try and do is I want to put some people in the spot here, and I want to do some quick fire predictions. We did it last week, and it was fun. Now the problem is we've only got 2 competitions really to look at, unless Chris, you back yourself to the Premiership.
Yeah, I can do Premiership
or Super Rugby.
Let's do it,
because I don't watch enough of either to do either. So.
Well, I would say, they're both my favorite comps. They're the ones I follow the most closely and has my money.
Okay, so which one do you want? Do you want Premiership Quick Fire or do you want Super Rugby Quick Fire?
Super Rugby.
Super Rugby. Okay. Rian, we're going to give you URC.
All right.
And then Reed's going to give you Curry Cup.
Oh, really?
Have it.
Come on, you gotta make things interesting. Okay,
I wasn't
there. Someone else better go before me. What does quick fire mean? Explain.
Basically, I don't want you to explain. I don't want you to justify. I just want you to tell me who's winning by how much, and
then we judge you afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Although Chris, I see there's only about 4 Super Rugby games this weekend.
Yeah, so give me English Premier if you want as well. I'm not shy. I'm not afraid.
We'll start with you. We'll do 4 Super Rugby, then we'll go to
Top 14,
and then we'll go back to the Premier. And then we're gonna give Reason top 14, and then I'm gonna give you Pro D2, and we'll finish with Chris doing some Japanese top league, and then maybe we'll do some Major League Rugby.
Yeah.
Whichever team video replays for wins.
There we go.
Yeah.
At half, by the way. Okay, Chris, are you ready for your 4 Super Rugby game?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so
let's
tomorrow,
go.
6 o'clock in the morning for us. Moana Pacifica versus Reds.
Reds by 7.
Reds by 7. Okay, then Brumbies versus the Drua.
Brumbies by 45 to 50.
Sorry?
Brumbies by 45 to 50 points.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, Hurricanes versus Chiefs.
Chiefs by 3.
Chiefs by 3. Nice first game. Then Waratahs Boss.
Waratahs by 7 to 10. 7 to 10 points.
Okay. I love that Brumbies Drua chat. That's the kind of stuff I'm in for. That's the kind of confidence I like to see.
They're gonna know the draw. You'll see it.
Might actually have to watch the game now, knowing that's the apparently it's gonna be a good game.
It's just the Brumbies the Drua just gonna battle to live with the Brumbies. That's the problem. They just don't have the structure and the physicality, especially away. Brumbies at home. These guys, I think Reds, some of the other guys have put 50 past them already. So Brumbies are the best Aussie team. Why should they not do it again? Be good conditions as well. So changes for Drua, 40 plus.
There we go. You see, you need a suitable punch team when you've got Chris telling us why the Brumbies are right. I think you'll love to see. Okay, you've had a taste now, Rian. Are you ready for your URC games?
Let's do this. Yeah.
Okay, Sharks versus Benson.
Sharks by a score, 7 points.
7 points. Okay, Glasgow Scarlets.
Good game. Glasgow by about 15 points, I'd say.
Okay, Ulster Dragons.
Ulster smashed the Dragons by 25 points. Dwayne is playing.
There we go. Okay, Bulls Zebre.
Bulls by 5.
Oh,
Bad form.
Oh.
I love it. I love it. I'm not mad at that either. I'm not mad at that either. You can go fetch some Bulls fans with that. Lions Leinster.
Lions going to show everyone how to beat Leinster. No one's been able to do it.
Come on! Okay, love
This is my heart talking. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. The head's overrated. Okay, then Stormers Munster.
Stormers Blacklash. So going to be about 12 points to Stormers.
12 points. Okay, then Edinburgh Ospreys.
Ospreys by about 5.
By 5. And then Connacht Cardiff.
Connacht by 15 against Cardiff in a wet and windy Galway, the dog track.
Yeah, no, I like the Lions shot. I think the Bulls chat's a very interesting chat. I actually really like.
Bulls will be far ahead, and then Zebre will come back. You'll see it.
No, I don't think it's a bad shot, to be honest. I think this Bulls team actually. I genuinely think that with things happening in Victoria, I think this Bulls team actually have it in them to lose that game. With how
No.
I think it could. It probably won't happen, but I genuinely wouldn't be that shocked if it did happen. Yeah.
The defense. Oof.
No, well, what defense? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I think for me it's Zebre. I have no time for Zebre. So if the Bulls if they can't, then
They're cool
fine.
winged.
But the Italians are up and coming, Chris.
Hey, look at Benetton.
Watch them. What? We're just thinking of win. No.
To be fair, when you say the Italians are up and coming, it's got nothing to do with Zebre. It's got everything to do with what's happening over in Treviso.
Yeah.
Zebre continue about this much Italian rugby right now. It's just Benetton. And then our Curry Cup expert.
Yeah, thanks.
It's not
Old lady of our rugby.
Right, so tomorrow is Sharks, Bulls, Hoppers 3.
Interesting game. I think it obviously the Bulls are depleted this week, so I'm going to go Sharks by 12.
Sharks by 12. Province Cheetahs.
Another interesting one. I think I'm going to go Cheetahs by 15.
Cheetahs by 15. Interesting one, because as I said, it is the Cheetahs full strength side, but fine, back you. Griffins versus Pumas.
Pumas by 30 to 35.
Okay. And then Lions Breakers on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm backing an upset here, to be honest, but I'm going to go Lions by 10.
Is that the upset, or is this?
The upset is that I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on that.
Okay, just checking what you classify as an upset right now. Be very clear about this.
But yeah, I hope that all comes to fruition. I've gone very safe this week, I think, but maybe Chris tells me different. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna put Chris's head back on the block with some Premiership rugby this weekend. Right, we've got also only am I correct to know he's getting 3 games this weekend, eh? No, wait, 5 games. There we go. There's that. Right, Chris, you ready? Okay, so Gloucester versus Bath.
Gloucester by 9.
Gloucester by 9. Bristol versus Sale.
Sale by 3.
Okay, Northampton versus Saracens.
Northampton by 2.
Well, close weekend.
I know it's a dodgy one. That's a dodgy.
Newcastle.
Yeah. This one won't be so close. Harlequins will win going away 12 plus.
12 plus. Leicester versus Exeter. Last game of the weekend.
Leicester by 7.
7. Okay, so it's quite. Yeah, with apart from the Harlequins.
How many heads will Leicester bang up?
Yeah. I heard some rumor about England possibly doing a wild card for the World Cup and calling up Ruan Ackerman. I don't know how.
Really?
I don't know how true that
His
is.
knee was exploded last weekend, so I don't know if he's going to be able to make it by then.
Yeah.
I don't know why they haven't called him yet. But
I
he's
wonder
knee
if, I wonder if this is back news from before the injury, and maybe he's missed
I
his
think
shot.
there was talks about it before his injury, but now his knees in the brace. I don't know.
I'd like to see him, to
But-
be honest. I really rate him. So, and he seems to
I
not-
followed Gloucester.
Yeah.
They my team in the Premiership, and he's been a very good
Yeah.
guy for years now.
Yeah, but also from a betting point, I mean, I love the competition's improved leaps and bounds, even though they're saying it's probably not as strong as they're thinking it is.
Excuse
But
me.
in terms of from betting angles, like Super Rugby and Prem are very good because you pretty much get the same sides playing each week. So form lines are much easier to read for me. So that's why I love English Prem and Super Rugby because my betting strategy. Some people love the numbers and it's raining and this much grass is on that side of the field, and I love the matchup. So if I see the matchup right in front of me, I call the games much better. So that's why I enjoy this game. And generally, the trends are quite solid on whether it's going to be high scoring, low scoring, and stuff.
Yeah. I'd love to pick your guys' brains about one last thing before we go, Steve, if that's okay. Our fellow pundits over at The Breakdown, I don't know how much you guys watch of them, but one of their most viral clips at the moment is the fact that Andre Pollard overrated comparisons to Sexton and Wilkinson. And I've just...
Got you boiling.
Yeah, I'm steaming a little bit, to be very honest.
You can see the steam coming out.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if this is for views or
No,
what.
we know it
but
is.
Yeah,
Of course it is. Yeah.
There's a very big Sexton versus Wilkinson conversation at the moment. With umpires.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think Pollard's underachieved in his career. I'll be honest. I think he's
He never won anything big.
Yeah. He's had his moments. He had his knee injuries like they all do. He's playing brilliantly. I mean, if he could just hold on to this form now, in terms of form fly-ups, arguably he could be better. But as you want to, man, like over their careers, I think you can't argue with Sexton at the moment. He was the other one they said.
Pollard's going to
Sexton.
Well, I'm seeing some people going Sexton, some people going Wilkinson. I'm always been a big Sexton fan.
Oh no, Wilkinson. Wilkinson was a different type of. Wilkinson was a different.
I'm in two boats here because I see the Wilkinson Sexton argument and something that you mentioned, Chris, is something that goes across all sports. There's always this conversation about how much has a player achieved in terms of titles, achievements, all that kind of stuff. To point out that a guy like Tom Cleverley, which is probably a name you're not familiar with unless you watch United football,
I do know that. Yeah.
I don't know what to talk about.
What's a Cleverley?
Exactly, but the man has more league titles than Harry Kane, and you go, well, I mean, that's just kind of like, well, do we base it on that? The fact that you could be part of a squad wins consistently, or you could be a star player in a team that doesn't perform consistently over and over again, which is what I think Andre Pollard has been. And admittedly, he's gone through dips which are mostly injury enforced. But when he's playing, I mean, there's no one in the world that really stops him, to be in my opinion.
I don't know. I don't think he's that good.
I think Richie Mwanga and Bowden Barrett are clear of all three of them, but that's just my opinion. But
yes,
if you combine
waits until the end and then drops the bombshells here, dude. Now I want to box you. You're gonna sit here, disrespect my boy Johnny Sexton like that. Then you're just gonna throw in Richie Mwanga and Bowden Barrett after the last 2 years of terrible All Black performances we've seen, and you want me to just sign off after that?
But I think they've all had injuries as well. I just feels like even the period of time that Pollard, he seems to be around for ages. I don't think he's in that old yet, but I think
28.
he's had his dips. Okay, he's won a World Cup, but like Wilkinson and Sexton just seem to have had this constant high level thing going. Maybe it's not perceived. If I had really rated Pollard, I would have really felt it already. I've been like, no way, he's like up there. But I don't have that conviction to say he's at that level. I don't know why. I wish I did.
Who's been South Africa's best, most legendary 10s? We don't make
Henry Honeyball.
We make 9.
Come on, Butch James.
Not even any of you could
come on, lad. Back
none of
Butch
you could
James.
agree. Earl Rose. I mean, that guy is underrated.
I mean,
No,
you saw your
South
golf
Africa
clubs,
doesn't
but
make legendary 10s. We make legendary 9s because we play off 9
yeah.
box kicks. So we just need a guy who can shuffle the ball on and maybe break their 10 in a head-eye tackle. Butch James
I
Pollard.
also think you're not comparing apples with apples. I think, like Chris said, if you're going on form alone, I think that Pollard is definitely up there. If we're talking about overall achievements in the career, I think Pollard's a long way off from finishing his career, and so that judgment is unfair at this point.
If he wins another World
Agree.
Cup, but he needs, then definitely. But right now,
it's an interesting World Cup coming up because if Sexton does come back and Ireland do win the World Cup, I don't think you can argue too much against. I mean, first of all, he's a World Player of the Year already, Irish Grand Slam at 37. If he wins the World Cup at 37, well, he'll actually be 38 by the time he goes to the World Cup, and he was nominated for World Player of the Year last year at 37. So I'm a big advocate of Sexton. I know a lot of people. He's very annoying as a captain.
Nations.
Yeah, and
most points for Ireland,
and just what he does, what he does to the Irish team. I mean, I like Byrne. I think he's a nice player. When Sexton plays for Ireland, it's a whole different prospect. I
think a lot rides on this World Cup. I think you're absolutely correct there. If Ireland crash out in the group stages, we will not be talking about them in the same, and we go on to win, and vice versa. We're definitely not going to be sitting here having this conversation. One of them is going to be very obviously on top.
Look, at the end of the day, if we don't win the World Cup, we're going to be talking about Finn Russell as the best flyer of all time when he guides Scotland to it. So,
there's my boy, that man.
But right, chaps, well, thank you very much. Yeah, we definitely pencil a couple of best 10s, best 9s, some controversial picks there as well. Best captains, for example. There's lots of stuff we must get into, and we'll do that in the coming shows. Because we're actually about to come to a bit of a rugby halt in the next couple of weeks because after this we're going to the URC playoffs and there'll be fewer and fewer games up until the first international game, which is the 5th of July, which feels like a very long time away. So yeah, enjoy the rugby while it lasts because it's going to get fewer and fewer in the next couple of weeks. We have to really get into even varsity cups coming to an end. So yeah, but chat, as always, thank you very much for joining me. Everybody in the comments, thank you very much. Sorry we didn't get to too many of them. Yeah, we will see you guys next week. This will obviously also be available on all your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and the works. So if you'd like to listen to this back in the car, then you can, and stuff like that. But until then, we'll be live over the weekend. We're going to be doing all 4 URC games. Might even throw a couple of Curry Cup games in as well. So plenty of live watch-alongs to come. Thank you very much. Please do smash like on the video on the way out and subscribe to the channel as well. And we'll see you guys all next time.
Hi, Harold. How are you doing?
Good day. Thanks. Good. Thanks yourself.
Good, thanks. You've got two more rounds left in this URC competition. You're up against Zebre this weekend. You've got a lot of teams breathing down your necks in the table. How important is it to get the maximum points this weekend?
Yeah, thanks for the question. For us, it's all about the process. We take it each day, step by step, each training session. So we try not to focus on the standings. Just try to focus on the training and build up to the game. Take it game for game.
You happy, Warren? No follow up?
All good.
Okay, cool. Ken?
Thanks, Lunga. How's it, Harold?
Fine, thanks yourself, Ken.
Yeah, good, man. Good to see you again. Harold, presumably you guys, there's quite a sense of relief in the camp after breaking your losing run. Obviously with the victory over Griquas. Can you just talk us through how the squad is feeling at the moment, and what would you say made the difference against Griquas? How did you guys actually get back onto the winning trail?
Yeah, Ken, definitely the win helped us a lot. Got a lot more of confidence, but actually the last couple of weeks we really played well. We put up a good performance against Ulster, and then especially the first half against Toulouse, both very, very good teams. So that was actually the build-up started 2 to 3 weeks ago, and obviously the win last week Friday just gave us a confidence booster.
Follow up there, Ken?
Yeah, please. Harold, I mean, everyone else, us, the media, the fans, people outside, tend to judge teams by their results, strictly, what you guys, whether you win or lose. How difficult is it for a team? Because I know you guys try and stay focused rather on your performance, how you guys have played rather than the outcome. When you get on a run like you guys went on, how hard is it to keep focusing on performance and not results? And just how pleased were you guys with the performance against Griquas, never mind the result?
Yeah, definitely. We play to win, and when the result doesn't come our way, we get back Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and try to get the focus back for the next game. Obviously, there was a couple of disappointments, and obviously the losing streak wasn't nice, but I think we just stuck together nicely. We really trained hard, and yeah, things started to change. I believe against Ulster, we really played well. The result didn't come our way, but in the camp you could have definitely sensed that the performance was getting better, and each training session is getting better, and the vibe is getting bit more positive each day. So, like I said previously, the win against Griquas was definitely just filling us with more confidence.
Okay, Ken.
Yeah, good.
Cool.
Thank you. Thanks, Harold.
Please.
Thank you.
Ashfaq.
Sorry, I just didn't unmute there. Thanks, Lunga. Hi, Harold. Hoop gaan goed met jou. Net in terme van jou persoonlijke wedstrijd. Jy lyk soos jy in jou beste vorm is op die oomblik. Hoe voel jy oor jou eie game?
Ja, baie dankie. Ja, ek geniet dit hierso. Ek is baie gelukkig hier waar ek is. Ek voel die unie is goed. Ons het obviously 'n goeie groep ouens. Al die ouens kom goed oor die weg, en ons draai 'n span bou, en obviously 'n unieke environment vir onsself te skep vir almal. En ek voel die ouens almal speel vir mekaar. Ons speel nie regtig een vir homself nie, en ek dink dis waar die verskil inkom. Almal speel vir mekaar, en die ouens gee om vir mekaar en werk hard.
En het ook gelyk teen Griquas, daar was beter ritme op die aanval met die bal in hand veral. Amper soos hulle sê, die shackles afgehaal het en net rugby begin speel. Was dit die secret teen Griquas?
Ja, ek glo ons het teen Ulster 'n baie goeie performance gehad, en so ook teen Toulouse, veral die eerste helfte. So dit het so 2-3 weke terug al begin opbou. Miskien al voor dit, die resultate het dalk net nie na ons kant toe gekom nie. Ek voel laasweek Vrydag teen Griquas was definitief, het vir ons bietjie meer confidence gegee, en dit net al die harde werk het afbetaal, maar daar was definitief nog baie werk om te doen. Ons het twee belangrike wedstryde vir ons, en ons sien uit.
Net laasens van my, Harold, Zebre het al, ons weet nou, hulle het nie 'n wen in hierdie seisoen nie, maar natuurlik sal julle nie dink dat dit sal maklik wees Saterdag nie, veral met julle resultate. Maar wat dink jy is die grootste uitdaging vir hierdie naweek vir julle?
Ja, ek glo in die URC sal geen game wat maklik is nie. Op die dag kan enige ander span klop. So vir ons is dit net belangrik om te fokus op wat ons wil doen. Voluit te doen, ons basics reg te doen, en ja, te volg wat die coaches vir ons gee.
Het net laaste ene van my, jammer Harold, het om met Stedman Gans nou te speel, weet hy baie van die bank af gespeel, maar julle het nou saam begin verlede week. Hoe voel dit om saam met hom te speel en vir hierdie naweek ook?
Ja, is baie lekker. Ek voel almal in die span kom oor die weg met mekaar. Maak nie saak wie inkom of so nie. Die ouens speel vir mekaar, so Ons is baie gelukkig wat die coaches kies pla ons glad nie. Die ouens back mekaar en geniet dit op die veld saam met mekaar.
All good, Ashwak?
Yes, thank you.
Cool. Ken, is that an old hand or a follow-up? If a follow-up, please go for it.
Thanks. Yes, it's a follow-up. Thanks, Songa. Harold, how's it going to feel for you playing back at Ellis Park on Saturday? But you're going to be in the home change room, all that sort of stuff. It's a home game and you're back at your old home. How's it going to feel?
Yeah, lots of good memories at Ellis Park. So looking forward to it. Hopefully it will be another good memory.
Shoni, Dylan, are you all good before we let Harold go?
Can I ask a question?
Go for it.
So I know I'm a visitor here, guys. Morning, everyone. Just Harold, I know I think just after the win over the weekend, there was talk that you believe that you can win again. But can you talk to us about in English what was going wrong or what had gone wrong to kind of before you arrested the run of losses, and yeah, what just went right over the weekend?
Yeah, like I said previously, I believe the build-up game 2 to 3 weeks ago, we had a good performance against Ulster. The result didn't come our way, but we really played well. I just feel against Griquas, the result came our way, and we took lots of confidence out of that.
Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. Today's preview, Bulls versus Zebre tomorrow at Emirates Airline Park. It is part of a triple header actually. There are two URC games as well as the Currie Cup happening at the Emirates Airline Park tomorrow afternoon. And the Bulls versus the Zebre is one of the URC clashes, a bit of a curtain raiser for the big Lions versus Leinster match, which will be happening afterwards. And it's a very strong Bulls side. The return of Johan Goosen and also a pretty South African stacked Zebre side as well, which should make for quite enjoyable viewing. And the Bulls can't afford for this to become a banana peel. You know, it's a team that they should win with a bonus point almost every single week, and a team they should definitely not even be struggling to get past. But this is a Bulls side which has been doing some very strange things, and if the Bulls do not get a victory or get any points this weekend, they do risk losing out on that top 8 spot and dropping out of the top 8. And they've got Leinster next weekend. There's a very young Leinster side, as you'll see from our Lions versus Leinster preview. You look at the Leinster side, it is a very young side. Before we look at the two teams for this particular clash, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We'll start with the Bulls side, and it's pretty full strength, really. Gerard Steenekamp, Jan Kobler, Mornay Smith, the standard front row, really. Ruan Vermarkers with Captain Ruan Nokia in the second row, and then the very tried and tested loose trio of Marco van Staden, Kyle Brink, and Alwyn Lowe. Ambrose Pierre comes to the side. He partners Jan Goosen, who makes his return to URC action for the first time in the season, actually. Played a couple of games in the Currie Cup and is now taking the next step up playing in the URC. And I think a lot of this will be sort of gauging where he is versus Chris Smith in terms of when they get to the URC playoffs, who's going to sort of do the business. The two wings, David Creel and Kanan Moody, quite a lot of physicality across both of them. Lots of pace out of the likes of Kanan Moody and David Creel, a very good skill set. Harold Forster is in the midfield next to Stefan Gans, gets an opportunity. It's good to see. I think Stefan Gans is someone who's kind of fallen down the wayside a little bit in terms of his career as a result of the Bulls bringing in a couple of players. And I thought that he's someone who had a lot of talent, a lot of potential at outside centre. We haven't seen him as much as we probably would have liked in the last few months. And then Kurt. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's coverage, it is Bulls versus Zebre. And we are at Emirates Airline Park. And a bit of a double header this game, as well as the Lions versus Leinster. Both take place at the same stadium. A bit of a new innovation that we are trying to get some more fans into the stadium, which is pretty cool. Because, yeah, at the end of the day, we need to try and make sure that we are bringing as many fans to the game as possible. So the best way to do that is to try and be a bit of innovative. So yeah, I said we've got 2 back-to-back games at Emirates Elan Park. So Bulls today at home, but not at home. And the same thing will happen next week, where the Lions will actually play at Loftus against the Zebre. But yeah, at the end of the day, they're both at Highveld, both very sort of similar sort of altitudes. The weather conditions will be pretty similar. They're not too far away from each other, so it's not like it's a massive disadvantage for the home sides playing there. But a big opportunity for them to go and try and play in front of a bit of a crowd. Well, there doesn't look like much of a crowd yet. There's actually 3 games in a row, or 2 games in a row today, and then next week there'll be 3 games in a row. A little bit of Curry Cup action being thrown into the mix as well. So kickoff is in about 11 minutes time. So still plenty of time to sort of settle in. And the big question is what people have been asking is, how can I watch all the action? And it's quite simple, actually. Check out the description and we will show you how to watch all the action, because you can watch it all live on a free-to-air broadcaster on TG4 if you've got a VPN. Now, we've got a video that we did on the on how to watch, so you can go and check right now. Just spell out, well, check out the description. Go and get ExpressVPN, and then you can go and connect to either UK or an Irish server, and you can go watch the entire game live on TG4. As in all the links you need are in the description there. So if you have any questions over there, put them in the chat. But you should be able to watch it all for free on a free-to-air broadcaster if you use ExpressVPN. So yeah, let me know where you're watching from. Also, want to get there's a poll in the comments going who's going to win this game. So I want you to go and vote in that as well. And I'm actually going to show you the video on how to watch it. I'm just trying to find it here. Here it is. Right, so it's it. If you're looking to watch the game, this is a very quick guide on how you can watch it on a free-to-air broadcaster. You'll also be able to watch the Lions game for free today with a VPN, as well as the Stormers game on a free-to-air. Both those games being shown on RTE2, so no excuses to miss any of the action today. So if you're still looking on how to watch all the action, then check out this. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's guide on how to watch Bulls versus Zebre on a free-to-air channel. This method is also going to work for Lions versus Leinster, and Stormers versus Munster is also being shown on a free-to-air channel this weekend, which means that if you are outside the UK, you can watch all the action from those 3 games live on a free channel through the use of a VPN. Now, before we show you exactly how to do this, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Now, the channel we're going to be using is TG4 for both the Lions versus Leinster, as well as the Bulls versus Zebre matches. And what you're going to do is you're going to download ExpressVPN, the link in the description, as well as a step-by-step guide on everything you need to know. So you're going to download ExpressVPN. As you can see, we've currently got it connected to a UK server, and as a result, this is what it's currently running. We've got TG4 over there, and it is currently running on the PC over there. Now, what's going to happen is if we go and we disable ExpressVPN or connect to a South African server, for example, and we're going to then refresh the page on TG4. So as you can see, we're now currently connected to a South African server. And as soon as you connect to a South African server, or you're not connected to a UK server outside, for example, you will no longer be able to watch any of the action because it is all geolocated to either being in Ireland or in the UK. So it's simple as that, really. All you have to do is go and download ExpressVPN and go and get yourself, or just honestly get yourself a 12-month contract, because you're going to be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup, by the way, for free as well on RT later this year. So we really recommend going and getting ExpressVPN for the year. We do videos every single week in terms of how to watch these games and where to watch. And on various sort of broadcast stuff like that. So go get yourself a 12-month subscription. You'll get 3 months free if you use the link in the description as well, and then you'll be able to watch rugby action from throughout the year using ExpressVPN and stuff like that. If you have any questions, people in the comments below. Otherwise, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon. There we go. That is how you can watch all the action today live and in HD, using a free-to-air broadcaster and ExpressVPN. And yeah, the next big thing is if you would like to get yourself a BetCoza account, please do go and check the description as well. A big shout out to BetCoza, who are powering all our rugby streams at the moment. They are official betting partners, and they are helping us bring you all this coverage throughout the weekend. And so a big shout out to them. And if you'd like to get yourself a BetCozo account and get this betting, then check out the description as well. You can go and sign up for one. And we do a bit of a betting segment every Thursday on our fan forum. And we've got a... in fact, we've got a lot of writing on this. If the Bulls win by, I think it's the handicap, which is about 26.5, then one of the bets that we did discuss will win. So hopefully the Bulls do not buckle in that situation. So in terms of some of the comments, Patrick Brady saying, I think Leinster will win the United Rugby Championship. That's a decent shout. Rudolph Ndiki says, I presume the Bulls have to win this one for playoff. Next week is Leinster, which I think changes. Am I correct? Yeah, basically, Jake White said that they need to win the next 2 games. If they win the next 2 games, they should finish in the top 8. Should finish about 6th, or ideally need to finish about 6th, so they don't get replaced by a Welsh side, for example. Patrick Brady says, who do you think will win the Rugby Championship? Yeah, I think Leinster are obviously the team to beat. I think the only team that really can beat them are probably a Stormers or maybe a Munster. The pitcher Ulster's playing good rugby this season though. So it'll be interesting. But basically, for me, it is very much Leinster's to lose. So providing they pitch up and that they get the job done, I don't see how they I don't really see how they lose the tournament, to be perfectly honest. It's, as I said, it's very much theirs to lose. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's about pitching up when it counts, isn't it? It's one thing being the sort of gold standard, which Leinster have very much been over the past 6-7 months of the tournament. But as we saw last year, if they don't pitch up, you can lose a game, and all of a sudden your entire season goes to nothing really. And that's what happened last year when the Bulls went overseas and beat Leinster at home in a pretty shock victory. So you can't take things for granted, that's for sure. But 9 times out of 10, you do expect Leinster to be able to get the job done. Yeah, as I said, I think it is very much theirs to lose. But for South African teams, it's about winning games, isn't it? It's about finishing the tournament strong so that, A, you're in the playoffs. More importantly, you get Champions Cup qualification. That's sort of the very big thing that all our teams are looking for. And it's a case of controlling the controllables. You can only control a certain amount of things. So make sure that what you can control, you are controlling. And whatever happens over and above and around, that's not only up to you. That's up to all the other teams and stuff like that. So you can't control what's going to happen in other results, but you can control what happens in your matches. So make sure you win your matches, win your fixtures, get yourself the best chance of making that top 8 and the playoffs. And once you get to playoffs, well, I'll tell you what, playoff rugby, anything can happen in playoff rugby. As I said, we saw Leinster go and be beaten by the Bulls at home last week and last year, and nobody would have really called that. So upsets can happen. Playoff rugby is a strange thing. Pressure can do strange things to teams, and home ground advantage is obviously so important. But at the end of the day, you rock up and you bring your perfect performance, and your opposition is slightly off, and you can get a win. Right, so just waiting for the teams to come out. Bit of a crowd starting to come into Emirates Airline Park. It's quite a long afternoon ahead. The Lions kicking off at 4 o'clock against Leinster, which is the big game in this double header. And then the Stormers taking on Munster this evening down in Cape Town. So maybe put your score predictions down in the comments below. I said we do have a poll running, so we will close that just after kickoff. So let me know who you think is going to win the match over here. And let's have a look at the two teams, shall we? Because a couple of changes for both teams, but it's a very strong Bulls side. They very much come out and said that, this is a must-win game. We're not going to take any chances. Despite them playing against Zebre, who are bottom of the log, they are not, they've named the full-strength side. A big cause, they have Jan Klussen at fly half. So if we look at the Bulls side, it has Klaus Steenekamp, Johan Fabela, and Morne Smith in the front row. Ruan Mark, Ruan Nokia in the second row. Ruan Nokia captains the side. Then you've got Marco van Staden and Carl Brink and Albert Lowe in that loose trio. In Bosa Pierre partnering Jan Klussen, two former Springbok players there. David Creel, Kane Moody, your two wings. Harold Forster, Stefan Hans in the midfield. Curtly Arnser at full back. Off the bench is Bismarck Duplessis, Dylan Smith, and Francois Klopper covering the front row. Then you've got Janko Swanepoel, WJ Steenkamp, Jan Schrammhoff, and Keegan Janus, and Chris Smith, as well as Cornel Hendricks. Taking a look at Zebre. The front row is Paolo Bionfigolo, Jacques Totoy, and Matteo Nogueira. You then got David Ceci and Leonardo Kremov. In the second row, Guido Volpi, Jacopi Bianchi, and David Rigeri as completes the pack. Alessandro Fasco, his partners Geronimo Priscantelli in the halfback combination, Simone Gezi and Kubas van Beek, the two wings. Eric Ronier in the midfield, former Pumas outside centre next to Enrico Lucien, and Richard Creel, former Bulls player, at fullback. Off the bench, Luca Bigi, Alessio Sanavia, Mohamed Hassa, Andrea Zamanon, Giacomo Ferrari, Chris Cook, Tiff Eden, and Jacobo Trella. So a lot of good experience and a couple of nice players across that Zebra side, and a very astute coaching staff. And I think they'll know that there are certain amount of cracks in this Bulls side. If they can exploit it, on the other hand, well, that remains to be seen, doesn't it? But if they can start well, then I don't see why Zebra actually might be able to put a bit of scare on the Bulls, who, have bounced back and won a couple of Curry Cup games, but are still not playing to the best of their abilities. They last won a URC game back in January. So this particular side in the URC and in the Champions Cup have not won a game for quite a while and not been particularly good form. So they'll be under a bit of pressure this afternoon. There we go. We're moving into our stats screen and stuff like that. By the way, if you are new, please do smash a like on the video. I'd really like to be at 24,300 subscribers by the end of this stream. That would be really, really cool. So please do go and subscribe to the channel if you are a new viewer on the channel. There we go. Emirates Airline Park, the iconic Emirates Airline Park. Obviously won the 1995 Rugby World Cup there. That's where France Alpine lifted the Weber Trophy for the first time. The Springboks winning that World Cup. So plenty of experience there. As I said, if you're looking to watch the game, check the description. We've got a whole guide there, as well as you'll be able to watch the Lions versus Leinster, as well as the Stormers versus Munster games. So go and get yourself ExpressVPN and watch back-to-back games. Bulls will be playing left to right. Jan Klaassen with ball in hand. The whistle has gone, and we are underway at Emirates Airline Park. Jan Klaassen going down the centre of the park, and it's a good take under the high ball there from Richard Creel, who used to play his rugby in Gauteng at the Bulls as well. So playing against his former side. Creel brothers, both in action on opposite sides today, which should be quite a nice little sort of thing. And the Zebre automatically looking to try and run it from deep. And Simone Casey, a bit of a forward pass. Pity, because he's got a lot of pace. It would be interesting to see if he would have what would have happened there. Forward pass. Joy Neville, the referee, in the middle today. Right, so an early opportunity this for the Bulls. They have a scrum inside the 22 towards the right-hand side, so they've got quite a lot of space to work with on the left. And, Ambrose Pierre, yes, where Jan Klaassen needs to bring that attacking prowess that he does bring to the Bulls. Twice being backed, and this will be an early opportunity for the Bulls. Otherwise, watch out for Alred Lowe off the back of the pack, very destructive player. And Curtly Orange as well, who is, we know, got so much pace and explosive sort of pace around him. He will be an option as well. Bit of a reset here. Yeah, it doesn't look particularly stable on the side of Mornay Smith and Bonfigolo. I'm going to close the poll there, and we did ask earlier who you think is going to win, and that's been a pretty resounding result for the Bulls. 82% of the 68 votes reckon the Bulls are going to take this. Looking at the scrum setup, you've got Curtly Orange and Kenny Moon on the right-hand side, Johan Klaassen on the left-hand side. So this could go either side, really. It looks like a much more solid scrum, and Ambrose Pierre is sort of blocking out, which would suggest that Alred Lowe is looking to take the ball. Still looking to keep it in now, Ambrose Pierre. I think Curtly Orange is going to be the first receiver here. And it does go to Curtly Orange. So Curtly Orange is stepping around. Puts the guy in behind for Caden Moody. That could be very easy for Caden Moody. That is so easy. That is dreadful defense from Zebre. Far too easy for the Bulls. It's Caden Moody who goes over. But how easy was that? Just pop it and pops up from Alred Lowe straight to Curtly Orange. Puts the guy in behind. Caden Moody's got so much time. I mean, he literally just marshaled and shepherded that ball. Waited for it to pop up. Grabbed it and went down. It's well weighted from Curtly Orange, but you've got to admit that it's very ordinary defending. It's far too easy. Caden Moody, the youngster, goes over and opens the scoring. Perfect start from the Bulls. First time they had a set piece. And they have converted to 5 points. And the field already cutting up, which doesn't look too good. Got a lot of rugby ahead of it of today. Still got to have a whole nother game later. We're just 3 minutes into this game. Now, Jan Persson, first kick of the match, and hasn't played a lot of rugby recently, as he kind of the he has been sort of injury prone throughout his career, and that's looking towards the left, but then he's going to straighten slightly. Yeah, it does go down the left side. So it will remain at 5 points to 0. Big scrum though, big scrum. I think the big thing is that the flanks there from Zebre were quite quick, slow to get across. So a good start for the Bulls. A worrying start for Zebre, who have barely touched the ball. They look to try and run it from deep in the initial phase before throwing a forward pass, and that has resulted in a Bulls try. Deep restart going down the throat of Albert Lowe. Big hit coming from him. He's eventually brought down after bouncing a couple of Zebre players. Ruan Nokia at first, Jan Persson going to Curtly Arnster. Curtly Arnster seeing a bit of space, wants to go himself. Then all goes to Harold Foster. Harold Foster got Samuel Kant next to him. Samuel Kant's got David Creel. It's a 4-on-1 situation. They go inside to Ambrose Papier. They're going to go into the end of the Bulls. Ambrose Papier does go under the poles. Goodness me, that is just brilliant rugby from the men in blue. The support play was so good. I mean, I think it might have been Richard Creel was coming across there, and he had about 4 or 5 Bulls players to try and contend with. So many good support runners being run there. And you can just see Curtly Arnster just delaying that pass slightly, getting behind young one player, bang. Then Harold Forster, similar thing, drawn pass, bang. Then Stefan Kantz has got options. He's got Creel to the left, Forster and Ambrose Pierre to the right. He goes to Ambrose Pierre, who's got the pace to get away from Richard Creel, as well as Alessandro Fasco. Second try in as many minutes. This will be a very straightforward attempt from Jan Koos, and the Bulls should go up to 12 points to 0 within 6 minutes. The perfect sort of start. As I said, there are some chinks in the Bulls' armor that Zebre would have fancied themselves to try and exploit. But if you're 12 points behind after 5 minutes, doesn't really matter if you exploit them, do you? Because you're behind the game and chasing the game already. Right, another restart coming from Zebre as they go down the left-hand side. This time it will be Ruan from Mark underneath that ball. And break a couple of tackles. The Zebre defense, which has been pretty ordinary the entire competition, continues to look rather suspect. Ambrose here, now going to the boot. Kenan Moody's going to give chase here. And gets ahead of Richard Creel and does take it. The Bulls win possession back just inside Zebre territory. Ambrose Pierre goes to Jan Krobler. Jan Krobler goes to Albert Lowe. Long pass out to Jan Kursen. Kursen ball over the top. Almost an interception. It does eventually fall to David Creel. But I'll tell you what, I think Kobus van Veek fancied himself there, but a penalty for offside against Zebre. He just can't do anything right at the moment. Very ominous signs here from the Italian side. And then the worst thing we need is for them to just lie over, just roll over and die. It becomes a very, very big, becomes a bit of a cricket score there. Yeah, you can see the early break coming. Right, so a line up now for the Bulls, an opportunity for them to try and run a third try. I'll tell you what, at this rate, they'll be looking to try and get a bonus point within 20 minutes if Zebre continue to defend as shambolically as they have. Good line, Jan Krobelov, ball in hand, looking for the rolling more, yeah, but so far it's pretty well defended by Zebre. Not getting too much dominance. They're going to have to use this now, just up to par 22. Ambrose Pierre getting that ball from Jan Krobelov. And he's going to Harold Forster. Eventually is brought down by Bianchi. Now Mornay Smith. Ball's inside the 22. Ambrose Pierre going to Albert Lowe. Albert Lowe met very hard in the tackles. Ralph Toy again quite quickly to make that tackle. driving the Bulls behind the 22. Now first to Jan Koersen. It's a horrible, horrible pass. It's been spilled forward by Johan Krobler. And yeah, not a great pass from Jan Koersen at all. Try to fire it across and then end up firing at Johan Krobler's feet. So it will be turnover ball here for Zebre, who are under a lot of pressure in the early stages. Right, scrum here. We saw a massive scrum from the Bulls earlier. They were a free kick this time for going early from the Bulls. So Zebre will have an opportunity to clear the line and try and get themselves further up the park. As I said, very worrying signs if you are the Bulls fan right now. Because, yeah, it's not been a good start. Oh, sorry, if you're a Zebre fan. Bulls fans will be very happy. They'll be reckoning that they can get a lot of points here. And they've gone straight down the middle. Curtly Orange underneath that. What's Curtly Orange want to do? He looks for a chip and chase. Well covered by Simone Gezi. Very exciting wing. You did play a bit in the Six Nations for Italy. Been one of the few shining lights for Zebre this season. Ulrich Loh getting over that ball, but illegally so. So a penalty for Zebre. So a couple of opportunities here for Zebre. They're going to go for the corner. As I said, they're already on train on quite a few, so can't really go for the points. Looks like a pretty good kick coming in there from Priscantelli. I'm not releasing as the call against Albert Lowe. Right, first line of the day. Josh Toy's going to find his jumper. He does. And they do break. Going very short for the big man. As Lucien goes well. Pick up and drive as well from Jacques Toy. Good hand there, Eric Lanier. His first touch of the game. Couple of good phases here from Zebre, looking much better. And the first time the Bulls' defense has really been tested so far. Nice carry there from Ruggieri. That's good work here from Zebre. Nice little hands there. Good hands as well. Getting within 5 meters here. Carl Brink's got over, but can't effect turn. Now long pass out wide. Curtly Arendt's got a lot to do. He's not going to do it enough. Richard Creel on his return to South Africa against his former side. Has gone over in the corner. That looks very easy, doesn't it? Just the cut-out pass that Curtly Arendtson was scrambling, and Richard Creel had the strength and the defensive mind to just sort of go inside, hold and wait for the Curtly Arendtson hit. He looks a bit sore, actually, as Richard Creel. Yeah, long pass, cut-out pass there out wide. Curtly Arendtson is always going to be struggling, and Richard Creel just sort of, as he's being sort of spun towards, managing to get that the grounding down. Good finish there from Zebre, who do hit back. As I said, he is receiving a bit of treatment. Look a bit sore there. So, to be honest, we've seen so far is two teams with pretty abject defending. 3 very easy tries, must be said, so far in the game. As Zebre do hit back. Geronimo Priscantelli. Right up against the right-hand side. Probably the hardest kick he's going to have to make today. As a right-footed kicker, doesn't get much more difficult than this. It's about 5 meters in, so I suppose it could be a bit further towards the right, but still not easy by any means. And that's going to go down the right-hand side from the looks of it. Yard. Well, flags do stay down. 12 points to 12 minutes. Pretty high-scoring game so far. It's a really good cut-out pass here from Fusco. Over the top there. Curtly Arendtson scrambling, and Richard Creel just has the presence of mind just to remain calm and get the finish in. Right, Jan Hussen once again going down the middle of the park pretty high. Good take from Richard Creel. He gets away from 1 or 2 players as well. Zebre inside the 22, so Fusco can find touch, but he wants to create a bit of a better angle, and he gives it to David Cece to carry. Now, once again, the Zebre looking to try and run inside the 22. Josh Toy, I think, has stayed down there. Looks really, really sore. Now, Fusco's going to go to the boot. Going pretty central towards the left-hand side. And of course, underneath it pops it to Kurt Lawrence. This is where Kurt Lawrence is so dead. He said McCann's going into Kanan Moody. Kanan Moody. Oh, a bit of a nutmeg him too, but it's a good pickup from Richard Creel, who gives it inside as well to Prishkantelli. Oh, this could be very good. This could be a 50-22. You know, that is a brilliant kick from Prishkantelli. Goodness me. So much space down that left-hand side. He's exploited it brilliantly. Playing with a lot of confidence all of a sudden on Zebre. Good covering there, and he just sees so much space, and he's hammered it downfield. And we saw a very good performance from another Argentinian, number 10, playing for Italian side last night in Thomas Albanose, and now Geronimo Priscintelli. Tell you what, the 23-year-old's been in great touch so far in this game. And looks like we're going to have a replacement here. And Jacques Totoy is down in a lot of pain. He's going to be replaced. So Luca Bigi will have a much longer game than he probably expected. Bonfiglio will continue. He's also receiving a bit of attention, but he seems to be okay. So another opportunity for Zebre. You're a bit shell-shocked, but this is a bit like yesterday's Benton versus Sharks game where the Bulls went to, the Sharks, I could see 2 early tries and they had to sort of claw their way back into the game. And there goes Jacques Toy, he's been stretched at all, so that doesn't look good at all. So Luca Bigi's going to come on. And what a player to be able to bring off the bench, the likes of Luca Bigi. So many caps for Italy. Class operator, the veteran, 31 years old. Played most of his rugby at Benetton before making the move to Zebre. And it's a horrible lineup from him early up. And the Bulls have won the ball back. David Creel pumps this downfield. Very big kick allows a couple of players to get back. Kobus van Veek's there. Kobus van Veek wants to run himself. Been a lot of rugby all around the world is Kobus van Veek, now playing in Italy. Carry now coming from Bianchi. Alessandro Fusco. Bringing it all the way back to the bit of the caterpillar. And Fusco brings it, lifts behind the Elian Hurst underneath it. And the Bulls have one possession back just behind their 10-meter line on the left-hand side. And Boris Pierre taking a while. They're going to Ruan Nokia as captain. As the 50-minute marker does come up. So still early stage in the game. And then Boris Pierre going to the boot as well. He's lifted it very, very high in the air. Let's see a tester here for Piancelli, who has locked it forward. And then another knock coming from the ball, so it's going to be a scrum. Bit of a sloppy bash to play there. Yeah, it just wasn't in a great position to catch that ball, was Priscintelli. Well, scrambling for the Bulls, but a good opportunity for them. They dominated one of the scrums earlier before that, which they scored at the back off. So before we see a free kick at the second scrum, but they did look like they had the measure of the Zebre front row. So Rose appear with ball in hands right on the left hand side, so they've got the full width of the field to attack with. And you'll imagine that they'll have some sort of set piece move lined up here. Pretty solid though. Rosa Pierre goes to Harold Forster's first receiver. Harold Forster's going to take the crash ball. Big hit on him. And Prishantelli has been run over there, but he does manage to hang on. Another good carry there coming. Now Ambrose Pierre going to Ruan Okier. The fuss goes up nice and quickly. Now Ambrose Pierre kick over the top. And that's going to go too far. Far too far. It's going to be a scrum back where he's kicked it. That's a bit of a mistake there from Ambrose Pierre. And see what he thinks of that. I opt not to translate the word he uttered there. Or repeated rather. So it'll be a scrum for Zebre back towards the halfway line. Another Zebre player is down though. I think it's Prishantelli after that big hit on him. Getting some attention on the ankle. So we'll get an opportunity to speak to the front rows about the scrum. We had a couple of issues last night. Where Ben Whitehouse had to give a bit of a scrum clinic to the likes of Oxenshire, who then went on to absolutely hammer the Benetton scrum. So a bit of break and play. This comes to join means we finally will have we will get going again. The Bulls have had to make more tackles so far. Zebra had to test the defense quite well, actually, and both defenses have looked a little bit leaky. This would be a Zebra scrum just inside their own half. Pretty solid scrum last time, and that's gone down. Penalty for Zebra. Mornay Smith, I think, but losing his bind. Now pushing down against Mornay Smith. So nice opportunity now for Zebra to get back into the Bulls half, and Bulls after that frantically good first start. A bit of sloppiness crept into their game. Maybe just need to sort of slow things down a little bit, go back to basics. Another good kick coming from Prishantelli. And they're just outside the 22. Luca Bigi lost his first line out. He needs to make sure he wins this one. And they don't win that one. It's a very good contest. And Ambrose Pierre's come down the short side. Found a few meters. So that's 2 line outs lost from Luca Bigi already. So it's a bit of an issue for Zebra. Now here, Stenekamp, big carry from him. He's eventually brought down by Desperate Bianchi, who just sort of holds on to him. Now Jan Goosen. Chip on the left boot there over the top. Really well covered there from Eric Cornier. He's going to get away from Albert Lowe as well. Good carry from the former Pumas out the centre. Now ball over the top from Fusco. Just bring onto his left boot. And it's gone too far. Jan Goosen let that run. A hand in the air from Alessandro Fusco. It wasn't the worst idea. Just far too much on it. And it has gone out in the full. Bulls are taking it quickly though. And Kanan Moody's gone down the short side. Kanan Moody looking for a bit of support. Stenekamp. Oh, that's a horrible drop there from Kyle Brink. And turnover ball here for Zebra. No, the ball's dropped on the low. Eventually it does fall back to Prishantelli. He's taken a while to gather it. Not too much on, so he's hammered towards the left-hand side. And this time Jan Goosen well positioned. He wants to go in the air. Kurt Arnson will give chase. And does take it brilliantly with Kurt Arnson. And does very well to hold himself up as well whilst the support does arrive. And Ambrose Pierre now going to Ruin for Mark. Ruin for Mark. Hale forced to chipping over the top. It looks like it could be too far. It is too much. They'll go back for the line of where he was. Not sure the kick was the right option there. I think could have just run their hands there, to be honest. I think they had numbers there. Zebra defense was retreating, so it wasn't in the best. But Fusco, they're far too passive. And Kirkley Arons are getting there very, very well ahead of him. Just going, thank you very much. And then doing very well to just keep himself up before being brought down once the support arrives. And that's why the Bulls had an overlap. And yeah, I think, just a poor kick out from Howard Forster. I think if you just run their hands, kept in the hand, I think they could have exploited that space a lot better. Don't think the chip over the top was the right option. Now, Luca Bigi, that's the third line they've lost. This is absolute amateur hour from Zebra. This was Wilder at the bottom of the log. It must be sick. Malcolm Starling going on a big run there. And I think they turned it over there, have Zebre. It's a very good turnover. Now, Fasco not too much on. The ball does take a touch from a Bulls player. Falls down to Harold Forster. He's got his entire backline with him. He's looking to go himself, there's Harold Forster. Good tackle coming in there on him. Jan Koblar to Jan Koersen. Jan Koersen out towards David Creel. Bit of an overlap. Kobus van Veek. Inside kick comes from Creel. Richard Creel, his brother, is monitoring, but oh, that is so bad. Imbrosapia is over, but this is, I mean, it's like Zebre don't want to actually be here, to be honest. That is such dreadful defending. I mean, first of all, Kobus van Veek, never under any sort of urgency to try and make the tackle, allows David Creel to put on his left boot and chip it in. And Kobus van Veek once again, and Richard Creel just very passive, running after it. The bounce of the ball, and Imbrosapia gets there first. He dots down for his second. Complete amateur hour from Zebre, it must be said. And you sort of wonder why. I mean, you sit there wondering why they're at the bottom of the log. Stuff like that is why they're at the bottom of the log. They just don't even look like they care right now. Yeah, and then where's the urgency? Where's the urgency from Kobus van Veek? A bit of a shove on Imbrosapia, but never really going off the ball. I mean, it's at the end of the day, Imbrosapia wants it more, and so he gets it. $19 points to 5. Bulls with one try away from a bonus point. It's testable. The ball does bounce. Zebre do win it back. Couple of fumbles though, and then a kick, and then a knock on, and we're going to go back for the scrum eventually after about 45 different knock ons. A pretty sloppy game all of a sudden the last couple of minutes. And a scrum opportunity here for Zebre. I'll just go back from my own game. Has Zebre even won the season? No, they haven't. And it doesn't take a genius to wonder why. It's just I don't understand what the plan is here. It just looks like a team that doesn't want to be here, to be honest. I've always said if you lose, you lose at the end of the day. And if teams are better than you, the teams are better than you. But where's the desperation? Where's the will to try and win? You know, you've come out here to South Africa. You made a long trip here. Let's see a bit of passion. Let's see a bit of effort here. Richard Creel there having to bail out as number 8. He was being caught by Imbrosapia. David Cece, one of the players who I think will probably try and stand up and try and make a difference. But the ball's come loose. Turnover ball. Kerostina comes away with it. Pops it up to Jan Koblar as well. Jan Koblar looking for the offload. Gives it away to Kerostina once again. Missed tackle. Back to Jan Koblar. I mean, it's just the two players by themselves. Now Kane and Moody. Kane and Moody wants to come inside. Ball's almost up to the 22. I mean, it's like playing, like, it's so easy for the Bulls here. Jan Koersen to the top. I think that's the wrong decision. And it's going to run out. I personally think if the Bulls just keep ball in hand here, then they're going to score lots of tries. You know, we see a couple of chips over the top. I don't think they need to do that. I think the Zebre defense is so poor that you keep ball in hand and you run enough phases. I think you'll find the tries by themselves, to be honest. I'm going to look at some of the stats here and see how many tackles they've missed so far, but it's been pretty abject. Zebre based in Italy. Yeah, Zebre Parma. Based in Parma. Go try and find some stats, shall we, and see how bad this defensive performance has been so far. Yeah, 77% tackle success rate. They've already missed 7 tackles in the opening half an hour. Have Zebre. They've been asked to make 30. They've completed just 23. Very, very poor. Luca Bigi now going at the top of the line-out, and they finally do win a line-out, although Bianchi has been actually hammered. But it is the first time they've actually won a line-out. Good kick there from Alessandro Fasco. It's a nice clearance from him. Good kick from the scrum off. It does seem to be a bit of pain. I mean, a couple of injuries keeping as well from Zebre. Overextending himself a bit there. Bulls taking the line quite quickly though, and have won it. They go to Ulrich Low. Big carry from him. Now they want to go down the short side through Gerard Steenekamp. He's had plenty of running to do so far. A good carry from Jan Kobolov. Ball's presented to Boris Pierre. He wants some quick ball. Goes to Jan Kosen. Jan Kosen pops inside to Creel. Looking for a bit of work as the left wing. Ball almost coming loose there. Boris Pierre now going to have forced to go into Ulrich Low. Gets away from one tackle. He does eventually bring him down though. Now we run for Mark. Solid tackle on him. Presents the ball well to Boris Pierre. Who now goes to the right hand side. Ulrich Low, bit of a show and go. Good tackle coming from Eric Cornier. Ruan Nokia almost caught on the ball, going to Ruan for Mark as lock partner. Going into their 10th phase now. The Bulls good pick up from Ulrich Low. Good hands here so far. David Creel rather. Spinning away. Boris Pierre, good hand. Inside ball there from Ruan Nokia. Ulrich Low getting up towards 22. Boris Pierre, one pass to Christina Cubby, comes back on the angle. Gets away from one tackle. Brought down by Eric Cornier. And Boris Pierre now to Jan Kosen over the top of his head, but to Christina once again. And Boris Pierre going to Jan Kosen. Kosen on the right. Long ball over the top. He's thrown a strand touch over Kanan Moody's head. And I tell you what, Jan Kosen has not had a particularly good game in this first 27 minutes. He's thrown a couple of very wayward passes. A chip over the top, which I don't think was the right option. And I personally think that this game was for him to try and prove that if the Bulls get to the playoffs, that he can do a job and potentially be a bit of an ace up the sleeve. But at the moment, I think he's very much playing himself out of the conversation. I think Chris Smith will be sitting on the bench, not worrying too much about his position in the starting lineup. Another break in play for another Zebre injury. Ball over the top once again from Zebre. And Bulls have won it back. Jan Krobler inside the 22. Kosen goes short to Stefan Hans. First, we're popping up to Gerard Steenekamp, who's, I'll tell you what, it must be about his 6th or 7th carry in the last 5 minutes. Ball out to Morne Smith. Good chop tackle coming on him. Was using a few meters. Now Harold Forster, show and go. David Cece doing a lot of work at the breakdown. Ball coming loose a bit there. Morne Smith going to Marco van Staden. Marco van Staden almost through. And Krobel pick up and go from him. A little bit isolated, but Ruan Nokia does well to come and add some support. And Boris Pierre. Now going to Ruan for Mark. Ruan for Mark thought about the offload, but goes himself. Luca Bigi did actually turn that over, but then there was no support around him. Ruan Nokia now carrying it up. Now Gerard Steenekamp once again. He's enjoying the time out there. Boris Pierre going to Jan Kosen. Jan Kosen to Kanan Moody. Kanan Moody got a lot to do. Comes inside. Big tackle coming from him. Richard Creel. Good tackle as well. Alessandro Fusco also helping him out. Ruan Nokia not too many options, so he takes the hit. Bulls one inside the 22 here, going into their 13th phase. Penalty advantage here as well. Hal Forster going to Morne Smith. Good tackle on him. Quick ball though to Jan Kosen. Kosen thought about it. He goes himself. Is brought down. Gerard Steenekamp at scrum up, bringing Ulrich Low. Good continuity just in the Bulls. They're going to their 16th phase. and pretty couple of city areas now past there to Kane and Moody. Kane and Moody's going to walk through. It's so easy. It is so easy. 20 phases, good ball retention, left, right. And then eventually Kane and Moody's just got straight through the middle, stepped outside Richard Creel. Again, far too easy. That's the bonus point shy, by the way. Jan Goosen just goes to Kane and Moody's, and he steps away from Richard Creel so easily. As I said, it's just, they don't want to make the tackles, to be honest. Bonus point within half an hour. And in case you need to worry about how bad or if it's going to be a close game, well, no, not at all. So Zebre at the moment have conceded, by the way, 606 points before this game so far in the URC. They've got a points difference of minus 310. So that's scored almost 300 points, but currently sit on 10 points, all coming from losing bonus points. They have not won a game, they've not drawn a game. 16 played, 16 lost. And this looks very much like 17 played and 17 lost. Because the Bulls are now 26 points to 5, up with 9 minutes remaining in the first half, and this could become a bit of a bloodbath, to be honest. Bulls winning the restart there. Creel now, good carry from him. Bit of a poor pass there. Eric Cornea under a bit of pressure here. Not too many options as well. Gives it back, and that's until he's actually dropped it. He's trying to get away from Steenekamp, who's managed to reel him in. Needs a bit of support. Gives the offload away to Simon Gessie. Richard Creel, good pick up there. Bit of a hospital pass there, and Eric Cornea has now lost that forward. And Zebre is completely directionless, to be honest. Had the ball for a while and just couldn't do anything with it, to be honest. Just a couple of offloads. It's almost like nobody wants to do anything with it, to be honest. And then it goes to Open. It's not a great pass. And somebody's just run across and slapped his arm, and the ball spilled forward. So 4 hand errors from the Bulls, 3 from Zebre. Bulls will have a scrum past the 10-meter line. So another good opportunity for them to try and score some points here. And you kind of get the feeling that every single time they do get into this sort of position, you're kind of backing them to score points, given the fact that they have already gotten the bonus point within half an hour. We reset there. Steenekamp standing up here. I'll be saying they play like a high school team. It's so weird to watch. I think it could be a bit of an insult to some of the high school teams, to be honest. An advantage there for the Bulls as well. Bruce Pierre going on the right hand side. Kurt Lawrence with Kenny Moody outside. And Kurt Lawrence pops it up to Bruce Pierre. He runs into Kenny Moody, then goes to Eric Lowe, standing start. Gets a couple of meters in, gets up towards the 22. Good carry from number 8, 9, Bruce Pierre. 2, Gerard Steenekamp. Popping up to Jan Goosen. Jan Goosen goes short to Ruan Nokia. I'll go back for the penalty. Right, Jan Krobler. Inside 22 goes to Ruan for Mark. That's right, it's Carl Brink actually. Now Mark of Staden. Escom, he's still going. Look at that leg drive. Up to 5 meters, by the way. And Bruce Pierre goes short to Alwick Low. Alwick Low within 5 meters now. And Bruce Pierre popping up to Gerard Steenekamp. Tell you what, he deserves the try with the amount of carrying he's done. Now Ruan for Mark, and it's over. It's so easy. It's so passive. I mean, the Zebre defense is so upright there. There's absolutely no chance of stopping him from that position whatsoever. It's going to be a very long day in the office here for Zebre. Bulls go up to 31 points. And you look at the defense here. Steenkamp there. And so upright, so passive. I mean, I'm not quite sure how Bianchi thinks he's going to be able to stop Ruan from Mark when he's standing so upright at that sort of point blank range. You've got to get yourself low and got to get ready for that. And they just weren't. And Hans Person now taking his time. We'll pop this over to make it 33 points to 5. And as I said, this could very quickly become a cricket score. Short pass to Zebre, often call the whipping boys in the league, shows class, but against physical side, it makes it hard for themselves. Jan Person as the extras. Yeah, they've just not even at the race. It's the whole, the golfing quality is actually incredible, to be honest. Remember that we are live back-to-back games. We will be live for the Lions game. We'll start at 4 o'clock, as well as Stormers will start at 6:15. Stormers versus Munster should be an absolutely brilliant encounter. And the Lions game should be fun, actually. Lots of young Irish players in that Leinster side. They go short to Zebre, and they almost win it back. It was a knockdown from Bulls, so they will retain possession there from the kickoff of Zebre. Right, come here from Zebre. They've got 1.5 minutes. Let's see if they can just create something. Just make it a little bit watchable. Penalty for the Bulls. Never mind. As I said, are you excited about the next game or nervous? I'm excited. There's no need to be nervous. What's the point of being nervous? At the end of the day, the Lions basically can't make the top. Well, they can make the top 8, but very unlikely. Things are kind of out of our hands. I just want to see us play some good rugby. So I'm keen to see Sam Prendergast play as well. New Irish number 10 being sort of dubbed the next Johnny Sexton, which is a pretty big backing to give a youngster. So keen to see how he goes. For me, it's about watching some of my favorite players play. I want to see Frankie Horn have a good game today. I want to see what Sinona Hammer's going to cook up. I want to see Hewan Horn playing well. So, yeah, and again, it's a bit of an insight to the future of Irish rugby. As Bulls do win that, and almost been Mason Morning Smith doing well. They run from Mark now, bashing it out, getting inside the 22. I'm going to side once again from Zebre. Harold Forster just sort of slowing up as he gets to contact. Now Carl Brink getting into the 22. Steenkamp running a very good line. I'm going to check at half time, but he's had some very big carry so far. Made a lot of meters. Johan Koos now going himself, wrapped up by Luca Bigi. 16 high though, so it's high tackle from Bigi. He completes. Ball's gone loose, then they go back for a penalty. I mean, it's right in front of the post, but I just get the feeling that Bulls are not going to go for the poles. Because why would you when you lead by 28 points on the brink of half-time? Unless you just want to go get some half-time oranges, in which case pop it over and go and get a snack. Sean Farrell saying Sam Prendergast won that 26 days with the out on 20s. He had an average of kicking average of 90%. I did see that. And I always say that I want to see the next Sexton play because he's the only hope when Sexton continues in the World Cup. Look, Ross Burns not a bad player by any means. I don't think we're going to see Sam Prendergast playing at the World Cup. I'd be very surprised. But he is very highly rated, so interested to see how he goes this afternoon. They are going to take the kick. I think they're just a bit tired and a bit bored of it. So, Jan Koos is going to add to his personal tally. They're going to bring this up to 36 points to 5. 31 lead at half time. And, as I said, this can get very ugly very quickly for Zebre. Yep, straight over the poles there from Goosen, and the whistle does go for half time. It's been a demolition job so far, and the Bulls will go into half time with a 31-point lead. We will see you guys after the break. Please do smash a like on the video if you are new. By the way, I said I want to try and get 24,300 subscribers by the end of the watch along. So another 10 of you guys need to subscribe, and then we will get there. And I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Right, and we are back for the second half, and the question isn't about whether Zebre can make a comeback. The question is how many more points will the Bulls score in this half? Halftime score 36 points to 5 over at Emirates Airline Park. Part of a double header. This game will be followed by the Lions versus Leicester. Kickoff in that is about 2 hours' time. So still a bit of a break between this game and the next game. But then we're going to go straight into the Stormers game after that. So plenty of content, plenty of action coming your way as we do have kickoff for the second half. Zebre will be playing left to right this half. And Ulrich Loeb. Pretty big K from him first up. So the question for the Bulls now is, so we did a replacement, by the way. Chris Cook is on for Sander Fusco, who was one of their better players in the first half, so that's not ideal for them at all. But to be perfectly honest, Zebre have been pretty dreadful. And Bulls have been a lot better, playing with much better intensity, much better ball retention, but also been a bit inaccurate. You know, a couple of times they kicked possession away, but I thought they didn't need to. I don't think Jan Clausen's played particularly well. But personally, I think they're physically so much better than Zebre that if they just keep ball in hand, which they don't, there's Jan Clausen now kicking that in behind. That's a pretty dreadful chip over the top from Richard Creel. It's shipped straight into the hands of Ruan Nokia. It's almost like a bit of the competition of who can play worse at the moment in those couple of stages there. Now, Simone Casey, long pass out wide to Prishantelli. He wants to go himself and very isolated. But just nothing really on for Zebre. And I think the Bulls, I said, if they just keep ball in hand, I personally think they could easily rack up 60, 70 points here. So Cook an opportunity now, 40 minutes for him to try and show what he's all about. Big counter coming in from Harold Forster. Penalty though coming in from the side though. And Chris Cook thinking about taking it quickly. Probably the worst idea possible. And as usual, ball over the top from Zebre. They've lost another line out, and Bulls have retained possession. All right, so through, ball up to Harold Forster. Harold Forster seems to find the offload to Caden Moody, and they could be through. Carl Brigg now popping it up towards Ruan from Mark. They're into the 22 here are the Bulls. Boris Appear going to Jan Person to Mark starting inside to Harold Forster to Alred. Good hands. Alred Low being brought down by Kubus van Veek. Great line being run there from Ruan from Mark. Eric Renier though, over the ball though. Gets no reward for it. Jan Person showing go himself, brought down. And Boris Appear popping out to Ruan Nokia. Very, very good turnover that from Bianchi. And it's been a re-turnover by the Bulls. Boris Appear popping into Caden Moody. Caden Moody's got space down the side. He's reached. I don't think he's gotten there. They're going to have a look here. I don't think he's got. I think he's short. I think he's out anyway. He's not celebrating. Yeah, I don't think he's gone over yet. Has Caden Moody. There goes the power for the next 4 hours. So we're going to see what my inverter can do, because I've got no power from 2 until 6:30. I mean, that's just mental. 2 until 6:30. Right, Caden Moody. We're going to have a look here. He's right up against the touchline. He's out. No, he's short anyway. They're saying he's very close. He's not close at all. He was always going to be short and out. However, it is a Zebre lineup, which basically means the Bulls lineup. Oh no, they're once again going to have to go over the top, and they've won it this time. That's I think there's only the second lineup that Luca Bigi has won since coming on. Chris Cook with that left boot of his, looking for a good clearance. It's a very good clearance actually. Right up towards that 10-meter line, much better there. Exit from Zebre. Here goes Forster, left it behind. And they've gone through and turned it over. Good work there from Zebre. Good awareness. Pretty slow from the Bulls. Smangezi at scrum half. Nice to see him in a bit of space, actually. Very exciting young wing. Eric Renier now. Ball over the top towards the left-hand side. It will bounce just shy of the 22 and find touch. Not the worst kick in the world. Bit of a territory game there. We haven't seen much from Eric Renier so far in this game. Did play for the Bulls once upon a time, as you mentioned there by the commentators. Another substitute there for Zebre as Zambalon comes on. Jan Kobler breaking off the back of that, but the ball was sacked well. Carl Brink working hard in the tackle. Ball still way back. The Bruce Pierce going to go to the boot. And Gezi underneath it. Goes inside. And Jacob Triller. And now Gezi being caught on the as well. So lots of Zebre players having to come back and add a bit of support. It was good cover defense there from the Bulls. Well, good kick chase from them. Jan Kobler working hard at the breakdown. Chris Cook going to Prishantelli. He's just going to hammer this towards the right hand side. Chris Verbeek is chasing pretty hard. Chris Verbeek does go up, and there's a knock on. I think I don't know if it cuts for Chris Verbeek or off Curtly Arnson. Now Curtly Arnson looking for the contact. Popping up for Stemmer Hans. Surely that was forward. It was forward. They'll go back for the scrum. Stemmer Hans could have been away. And that could have been, clearly forward there. Steman Kans could have been away there. He's got plenty of pace, Steman Kans. Had quite a quiet game so far. Everybody, and welcome back. Apologies for leaving you, but in case you have not seen, some breaking news which we've just had to try and cover. Jacques Nienaber has officially confirmed his departure from the Springboks. How's that for a bombshell? An absolute bombshell during the stream to drop, and some massive breaking news. But it has officially been confirmed that he will be taking up a role with Leinster after the Rugby World Cup and will not be renewing with the Springboks, which is pretty big news. As you say, I'm sure you can forgive me for popping out for a few minutes to just cover that quickly because, yeah, I mean, that's the biggest news of the year so far from a Springbok perspective. And, yeah, not something that we expected at all. So we're back here. We're back. And we'll be covering the rest of the game. And yeah, apologies for popping out like that. And since I've left, though, Bulls have gone up to 43 points. Zebre, however, have managed to score a try again. So they're not completely. I'm not saying fine. They're out of the game, but not completely just passengers. They are now trying to score a few points. But yes, you don't exactly see them coming back now, do you? But hopefully it will be a bit of a decent spectacle in the last few minutes as the Bulls look to try and score another try, looking to bring up the 50 mark if they were to convert this try that they're probably about to score. As Kyle Brink goes within a few meters. Embosa Pierre popping up, and run from Mark. Can he turn? Can he turn? I think it has been held up, actually. I think it's actually turned out to be some pretty good defense. On-field decision with no try here. Right, let's settle in, shall we? Let's try and settle back into this game. Yeah, I can't believe that whilst we're busy watching Zebre get hammered by the Bulls, Leinster are busy announcing that our national coach is leaving the team after the World Cup. Not quite what I expected when I woke up this morning, but a very interesting development. And now we wait and see what will happen. So, yeah, big questions about... the nice thing is, for example, the Springbok, the press release did confirm that Rassie Erasmus will not be leaving. He's been locked in for another 2 years, at least. So it's not going to be a complete exodus. So at this stage, it's just Jacques Nienaber that will be leaving the team. Looking at this over here, I don't think there's... I'm just trying to see what the decision's going to be here. Yeah, try's good there. Yeah, I think the ball did almost go a bit off forward, but Ruan Ackerman managing to Ruan Ackerman. That's a good finish in the end. It's actually done very well. It's initially very well defended, but Ruan from Mark just managed to twist in the action to get that to get the grounding. That's a decent tackle by Chris Cook, and he's desperately trying to hand on. Just as he goes over, Ruan from Mark manages to just sort of twist in the tackle and manages to get it down. A bit of a shaky restart there, but David Creel eventually getting it back. That's a great kick. I think that will be a 50-22. Yeah, and this is the thing. When things are going badly, things can just continue to go badly. It's a great kick in behind. 50-22, Bismarck Duplessis. Bulls, after raising the bat for 50 points. Here comes Keegan Johannes, by the way, who's only going to speed up play. Very, very talented young scrum. I really do rate him. Adam saying, off the World Cup is that okay? It will be expected Russia needs focusing on 23 goal in mind, having him join 1,800%. Samuel saying, Kombola, Yellow can't vent, just do it. Well, there we go. Do as Samuel guys says. Edwin saying, why isn't Zebre allowed to bring back a player that has been replaced due to an injury? New rule. So I actually see what's going on here. I'm busy catching up. As I said, we were taken a bit by surprise with that breaking news announcement about Jacques Nienalba. So we're trying to settle back into this game a little bit. But a couple of subs there. I'm seeing WJ Steenkamp. I'm seeing that's Francois Klopper taking into contact. He and Johannes on. So I'm seeing a lot of subs on here. So I'm not sure what the situation with Leinster being able to, with Zebre being able to bring on an injured player. Jan Goosen, Curtly Arnson, wrapped up pretty well, but gets the offload away. Stemmer can't to Kane Mooney. Kane Mooney will go over. And yeah, this is now threatening to become pretty ugly for Zebre. Another try for Bulls. And a hat trick for Kane and Moody. It's one of the easier hat tricks I think you'll score actually. Yeah, and it's just a case of drawing pass. They always seem to have the numbers at the moment, don't the Bulls? And the extras are added 57 points to 12. This is an absolute hammering for Zebre, who I think will just be very, very keen to get this game over and done with and go home. Well, they don't get to go home. We go back to the hotel. And they're going to come back down to Loftus next week to play against the Lions. And Swanepoel now on 4-0 here. Bit of a short restart there and very well taken up the air. 15 minutes left in this game. While the Bulls play at Park. So it's part of a double header. So they're trying to sort of obviously, exploit the sort of the fact that there are 4 home games for the Bulls and the Lions in 2 weeks. And so they decide to play this week. They're having a double header with this game and then the Lions versus Leinster. Next week's actually 3 games in a row. I think it is Lions versus Zebre, followed by Bulls versus Leinster. And then there's a Currie Cup game. I think it's the Bulls versus Lions actually. So that's going to be at Loftus next week. But that is why they're playing at Ellis Park today. Phil over the top there. Good kick from him. Trula under a lot of pressure. He's going to have to put that down. That is brilliant defending. Yeah, and this is the thing. And when you're reading like that, and then you bring Chris Smith for Kurt Lawrence, so Jan Koos will go to the back, to full back there. Big scrum there from the Bulls. This could be penalty try time if they don't just walk it over. They are probably going to walk it over. Picked up by WJ Steenkamp. Penalty advantage there being played by Neville. Bismarck Duplessis at the back. Still the penalty advantage. Still hungry for plenty more tries than Smith now. Take it in. Johannes now going to Chris Smith. Chris Smith to Hal Forster. Hal Forster to Johan Kursen. Johan Kursen on the angle. Draws in David Creel. David Creel going all the way. Oh, he's lost it for. He went for the spectacular. He tried to be David Willemsen. At the end of the day, you're not David Willemsen, mate. Come on. We're going to have a check here. But I don't think he's managed to get this down. Edwin says, I'd really like to know if this was a situation of the new rule considering the Zebre injury. I don't know what the situation is, unfortunately. As I said, I missed it. So I'm not sure what the situation is. I don't know who's gone off, who's not been allowed to come back on. So I'm not entirely sure, to be perfectly honest. I said, things have been thrown off a little bit by the Jacques Alba announcement. So we're kind of just reading a little bit in the background, trying to get all that sorted. Bulls just short. Went back for the penalty and off the back here. King Johannes going to mark him and starting. He's over. So easy. So easy. Into the 60s now. Do the Bulls go? And they're not going to stop here. I mean, let's go see what their points difference was before the game. Points difference before the game was 44. It'll be over 100 at this rate afterwards. And there's only 4 teams with a points difference of over 100. So, yeah, Zebre very much becoming that team where you basically just play them to get your points difference up. Da, 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 da. The extras coming from the boots of, I think it was Christmas with Jan Kursen. I actually wasn't concentrating them, but still was trying to get myself all back and organized. Ronald Hendricks is on as well, by the way. Deep restarts Carl Brink. Popping up to Janko Swanepoel's on the park as well. So the Bulls have completely emptied their bench. And 64 points to 12 as it stands. A pretty big margin, that is. I mean, 52 points. And that's a horrible knock-on as well. So that'll be a scrum for the Bulls. Yeah, Zebre, they're just waiting for full time, aren't they? They're just praying for that whistle to just go and put them out their misery because they've just not been anywhere near good enough today. Right, so 8 minutes to go with the Bulls area, searching for yet another try. They've got a penalty advantage at the back of the scrum, and they've absolutely hammered Zebre at scrum time now. They do use it, and keeping your hand is caught by Chris Cook. They'll go back for the penalty. They'll knock this towards the corner and just keep trying to hammer away at this poor, and I do say poor Zebre side, because they've just, first of all, they've been poor, and then you've got to feel sorry for them at the rate that they're just being absolutely taken apart now. Bismarck Duplessis almost through the gap. I mean, when you start seeing Bismarck Duplessis running through gaps like that, you know it's been a long day at the office. Now Chris Smith. Sorry, Dylan Smith rather. And Bismarck Duplessis through the gap. He dives over, rolling the ears back at Bismarck. Look at the athleticism, the pace. And he goes over for yet another try as Bulls are about to bring up the 70-point mark. Look at the smile on his face. Not too often you'll see Bismarck Duplessis diving over in such fashion. First of all, almost half a line break. Popping it up to Marco van Staden. Gets back on his feet as Bismarck. Dylan Smith breaking a couple of... Francois Klopper breaking a couple. And then Bismarck Duplessis through the gap. Picks up and goes straight through the middle. Dives over. And that'll be on the highlight reel for a while there for Bismarck. Deep restart, well, high restart there. That's a great knockback by Kobus from Beck. It's a great take as well. And the ball falls back to Chris Cook, who throws it out towards to Tiff Eden. Zebre having a last go. That's a nice little carry there from Mohamed Mahalsa. But it's been ripped by the Bulls. Shame, 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 shame. And another penalty for the Bulls. Long day in the office. That's the only way to really describe what we've seen from Zebre. It's just not gone well for them at all. The poor lads. But yeah, you know, it's a learning curve. I just don't see what they can do in the off season to make themselves even semi-competitive. You know, in the coming season, because they've seen a whole overhaul, don't they? And I understand that they don't have the resources. Benetton are the big sort of giants in Italian rugby. They've got all the best players and stuff like that, but they've got to make something. They've got to do something, because they can't come back into a competition and just be the whipping boys year in after year. They've got to be able to win a couple of games. They've got to be able to at least be competitive. Otherwise, you're adding zero value to the competition. I don't know how you solve it, though, to be honest. Good line up there. Chris Smith, Mark of a start and bursting through, popping up to corner of Hendricks. But forward is the call. That'll be a scrum here for Zebre as we enter the last few minutes of the game. Remember that we will be live. Well, it's already live at the Leinster Lions versus Leinster stream. That game kicks off at 4 o'clock. However, we will be live at 3 o'clock for a live reaction, chatting about Jacques Nienaber, Rassie Erasmus, and the whole sort of Springbok coaching situation, talking a little about who might be replacing him and stuff like that. So we'll be live in 15 minutes for a live reaction of that. That'll roll into the Lions versus Leinster game at 4 o'clock, which will then roll into the Stormers versus Munster game at 6:15. So, yeah, it's just going to be basically just don't leave the channel. You know, why would you for a start? But don't leave the channel particularly because there's going to be just content on coverage, on chat, on absolutely everything over the next couple of hours. So this is your one-stop shop for all your rugby news. And 50 people watching. As I said, I wanted to try and get to 24,300. So 8 of you guys are not subscribed and could do us the biggest favor and go and subscribe. That would be highly, highly appreciated. And hopefully you guys will join us for the live reaction where we discuss Jacques Nienaber leaving the Springboks, as well as then joining us for the Lions versus Leinster game, and then joining us for the Stormers versus Munster game. For this 1.5 minutes left, 90 seconds, Zebre right back in their own half. They've been outplayed today and outmuscled, and I think they're just going to be very excited for this final whistle to go, because it's just not been a good day at the office for them. For the Bulls, it's exactly what they needed, isn't it? They'll take a lot of confidence out of this, you know, a lot of momentum, which is the main thing they would have wanted. It's not been particularly difficult for them, but for a side that hasn't won a game since January to get back to winning ways in this fashion, as they're just throwing offloads after offloads. Cornel Hendricks coming on the inside, back to Keegan Johannes. I mean, they're just playing, you know, like touch rugby. No, they're just throwing pass around like it's going out of fashion. Kane Moody searching for his 4th try of the match. The game a little out of hand here, I must admit, for Zebre. Last minute of the game, what can the Bulls conjure up? Can they get themselves another try? I mean, there's been too many already, hasn't there? Now Carl bring right up against the touch line. Gives it to David Creel, gives it to Chris Smith. Chris Smith 5 meters out. Now from Mark to Swanepoel to Chris Smith, and that's how they'll finish it. Goodness me, it has been a proper thrashing, and they will finish with yet another try. Zebre, they're going to leave with their tails between their legs, and the Bulls are going to leave very, very happy. Very interested to see what Jake White has to say after this game, because it's been a very clinical performance from this side. They've never let Zebre look anywhere close to being in the game. They've hammered them well, off time, and it's been a demolition job. An absolute demolition job. And there goes the whistle. So full time, 78 points to 12. Not much more you can say apart from just abject from Zebre. Good from the Bulls, but they didn't have to play particularly well to get the job done, did they? So they leave with all the points that they wanted and more. Zebre, they'll leave for nothing. Thank you very much, people. We'll see you guys in about just under 15 minutes time for live reaction of Jacques Nienaber leaving the Springboks. Apart from that, we will then see you at Leinster versus Lions. That kickoff was at 4 o'clock, and Stormers versus Munster at 6. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys all very, very soon.